Hello.
How are you, my good man?
I'm good. How are you?
Andrew, we're facing what you may call technical difficulties because my usual IT guy is not here. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
You mean the voice of God?
The voice of God has left me.
Yeah.
You know?
Went back
Yeah,
to
that's
heaven.
sad.
So there were a few what you might call difficulties in the beginning, but I feel I've recovered.
Yeah.
And you're here, and I feel good about that.
Yeah.
Shout out Forbidden, bro.
Salute.
What you saying?
It's a good week. It's been a good week.
It has been a good week.
Yeah, man. You know.
What's going on in the streets, dude?
Hey, bro, the streets are crazy.
It's wild out here.
It's wild out here. There was this guy who in America, a policeman who shot a woman who was fighting with another woman.
What?
Um,
What happened?
So these people were fighting
Okay.
in America.
Okay.
In the streets.
The streets are rough.
So now this other girl is trying to kill the other girl, you know, because they fighting. And the cop was like, nah, I'm going to shoot you, the one who's trying to kill the other person. And now it's a big hoo-ha in the streets. So I was like,
Dude, so what, do they have guns? Well, what's the story?
like the girl was 16, but she looked like,
16?
yeah, she looked like she's 29 or 30 there.
It's a good time.
She was big.
That is not a good time for that to happen.
That's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Not that it's ever a good time for that to happen.
Yeah.
It was 16. It's right at the beginning of your...
Well, I mean, irrespective, just, trials going on currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what happened?
Well, the cop shot the one who was trying to stab the other
Get-
person.
Stab someone?
Yeah.
Wait, so what? These girls are fighting with knives?
Dude.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking fist fight and... Okay, the cop
Hey,
overreacts.
man, the other girl just pulled out a knife and she was about to go for the neck. And the cop was like, I'm going to save the
Dead.
other one.
What state did this happen in?
Yeah.
What state was it? It was in America.
That's-
Hey.
It's probably in the Midwest.
Yeah.
That is... So,
There's
60...
some ignorance.
Knife, huh?
Or Florida.
Yeah, probably there. Yeah.
We should just group them all together.
Hey, man, just make assumptions.
If you're in that rust belt, you're capable of anything, is what you're saying, basically.
I'm just repeating what I hear on the. Yeah.
Yes, you're regurgitating what's repeatedly been told to you by mass media for a long,
Yeah.
long time.
I'm not filtering anything.
Mr. Andrews in the building.
It's crazy, Andrew Charles, bro.
Yeah.
But I just want to finish off on the story.
Yeah.
So, you two women,
Girl
girls,
fighting. Yeah.
one has a knife.
One
The
pulls out a
16-year-old has the knife.
Yeah.
She's trying to now kill the other one.
Yeah. Attempted or straight murder. And
Cop
the,
says
the cop was there, was like, nah, I'm not having none of that.
So he shoots her.
He shoots her dead. On the
Dead?
spot. Yeah.
What happened to him?
Well, obviously there's going to be investigations and all of that. But like,
16.
it's very it's an unfortunate situation.
Well, wasn't there like a 12-year-old killed recently
Doing
in
what?
the US?
Yeah,
Like
man,
some-
they're just killing each other that side, man.
Happens a lot.
So is
Happens
that
a lot.
just what, 12-year-olds?
What happens a lot that they're 12-year-olds.
Yeah, well, just 12-year-olds. They're going to pop out, huh?
Hey,
12
No.
years later.
man,
Yeah.
the cops shooting
Yeah,
people in.
yeah. It's just unfortunate.
Do you think there's just too many people in America? Like, I think sometimes
Yeah.
we forget that, we think, 60 million.
Mm.
Like, we're a pretty big country.
Yeah.
They've got 300 million people.
I'd be more concerned about how many people there are on Earth.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
7 billion, hey? 8 billion almost now.
Yeah.
it's a lot.
A lot.
It's a lot of biomass. Still less than ants, though.
But to control 300 million people
Yeah.
in one country,
Yeah,
it's
like
a
to-
lot of
Like create a culture, a binding
Yeah.
culture,
Hey, man, it's a lot.
rules
I mean-
for 300 million
people.
Well, China.
Oh,
well,
don't even go there.
China, I would say it's slightly easier there because if you look at the lineage it's been horrific,
Yeah.
but they come sort of it's a monoculture. There isn't a skin color divide.
Yeah.
There isn't really
Yeah.
a cultural diversity. It's kind of clear who's in charge. You know?
Yeah.
It's like there is this,
One person.
someone's always said to me, and I've spoken a lot about the China situation, is there's an element to living in that socialist, whatever you want to call it, the Chinese system,
Yeah.
because they say they are socio capitalist, but I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
Anyway, they say it's capitalism with Chinese characteristics.
Yeah.
Is how they put it. But in terms of freedom, right, and the ability, some people, a friend of mine's argued, and I said, I actually think there is a freedom to being in that sort of state, because you know what your limits are. You know, when we live in the West, we feel like we've got sort of an exponential freedom,
Yeah.
when in reality,
Yeah.
I don't get to control the water I drink.
Yeah.
The quality of the water in our taps is out of my hands. Now, I know that, but it's like, I feel, I'm told all the time, anything's possible. Like, whereas there, it's very clear. Excuse me, we're in charge. We are watching you all the time. You know, if you don't, I don't know if you know, in China, there's like points, travel points. If you shame the country, that's not up to you. Like, if you do something shameful, that's just on your record.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, and it affects everything.
So I just think China could have 3 billion, and I just think the way their society is built, the
It would function.
monoculture, America's just like a melting pot, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the history of America is, you know, pretty. It's certainly got a lot of complexities to it. I mean, I'm no expert on history, to be honest, but you know, like the sensitivities, I think, of any situation where you have a alien effectively arriving on land and claiming, oh, this is where you've lived for. Well, how many? Tell me how many hundreds of years you've lived in this place. Well, it's mine now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
And that's never. I don't think that there's no real bedrock that builds. I think for like a society that's sustainable
Yeah.
for you know, like checks and balances. I think.
Yeah.
Like the chickens will come home to roost in whatever form it may be.
Super true.
And I think if there are atrocities that are, I don't know, that happen in the hands, particularly of someone who's invading another person's home effectively,
Yeah.
I think a lot of those checks and balances should be, you know, taken care of at some point.
And then the question comes, right, in a place like that's such a good point. Do you think it's almost like America's almost like a teenager in terms of, if you think of a country, you know, you think of Iceland and you think of these really, really old democracies. They're 1900 years old, some of them, if the history books are to be believed. And then you think America's only really 400 years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's almost, it behaves like what it is, which is an infant.
Yeah.
Really. You know, you think of America's country, everything's really new there.
Yeah.
So you might say their symptoms are exactly what you're saying. They've just come off a traumatic. I mean, the way things have gone to get where America is. Slavery is one thing, but you think of how they treated their own for the last 150 years.
Yeah.
You know, the British are classes, but I mean, even America, you know, that's been brutal on their own. You make people work, and the backbone of America built on. I mean, you read about they call it Steel City, right? Pittsburgh. You think of the atrocities of the people that have worked for the last 150 years to build America. White, black, doesn't matter. You would in the steel. Your father could be dying today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's how the country's built. And I like, that's a horrible thing, right? But this is how an infant would behave. But I don't know. I've just kind of thought of it that way before. Just like, this is what young people would do. And America's a living, breathing thing, which is trying to figure.
Living, breathing teenager.
You know what I mean?
It's out of control.
Has a lot of billionaires and an enormous army.
Yeah.
That, you know, I mean, what is it? I think it was Rockefeller said, if there's blood on the streets, I'm buying.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's true. You see chaos happen now. I mean, I was listening to a podcast the other day where they were talking about the withdrawal or the imminent withdrawal of all troops from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Now, from the foreign war, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's happening in September. And so you have this, you know, some president rocks up, basically like I mean, the dude's old.
Yeah.
He's old.
He is.
Yeah.
And like I think a lot of people look at him
because
of that, you know, they kind of like put him on some sort of, there's some coloring that's happening, especially after coming in after Trump. And then you go, no, we're going to pull all the troops out. And there's a lot of weight behind a decision like that, you know. But I mean, I'm not American.
Yeah.
You're not.
I'm not. Wouldn't want to be.
Do that. I mean, that's a tough one. Because you also say to yourself, some of their universities do some good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough to dismiss their aggressive.
But don't you think everywhere does good stuff?
I do, and I think, you know, I've never seen America as like the center of how I color the weather of my consciousness. I don't really consume the music.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't think it's a conscious thing. When I was 18, 19, I was in the UK.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not looking to South Africa. Also, I'm also, you know, I listen to British music.
Yeah.
Like Forbidden and I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
I love Oasis. I like grime music. You know, everybody thinks Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think Oasis. Like whenever people go great bands, yeah, you know, I think Happy Mondays.
Yeah.
You know, Stone Roses. Like I really got into that. I used to hang out with a few singers when I lived in the UK. So I don't know. I guess. Do you know what's interesting about being South African? And I'd love to know what you guys think. I still argue globalization couldn't have come at a worse time for South Africa, you know?
Yeah.
We got out of our, you know, brutal, very recent now and very recent past.
Yeah.
And then we were asked to kind of grow up immediately, having really not had the chance to sort out our own home. It's like, oh, you're also part of this bigger thing called the global world economy. You know what I mean?
And also, he has the internet.
Yeah, like join the global. Yeah.
No, this is going to change everything. And like, we understand you've just, you know.
Well, we're here now.
Yeah. It's like, how can I put it? It's like giving a 2-year-old the keys to a Ferrari.
Hey.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's what it is.
The best.
Because as South Africans, we barely know how to interact with one another.
Yeah.
And then now, American culture. Yeah, put that in right while, you know, Andrew's white, I'm black. Also, like, is that the only way we can view each other? All right, well, that's what the politicians are telling us.
Yeah.
Most people are angry. Oh, while you're at it, here's another version of blackness. You should be like a hip-hop star. And then that creates things amongst black. So my point is, we are an infant as a country.
Yeah.
And then, boom, globalization. Like, be a global citizen as well. I don't even know how to be a South African citizen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very good point. I don't think many people do know. I mean,
Yeah.
like, what do you really, how do you describe yourself as a South African?
That's
You
a
know,
great...
I don't know, man. I live in I think a country that has the best weather on the face of the earth.
1,000%.
Bruh.
Has it's one of the most beautiful countries on earth. Has the best people I think I've met.
Totally
after
agree.
traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably it's never you never like. Oh, we happen to have excellent cuisine, because I don't even know what South African cuisine necessarily really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like and that's coming from a bit of ignorance, because I think, you know, you could really go and find that out. I think you could answer that question pretty conclusively. But, you know, you never really think like, you know, I want to go to a South African restaurant. It's always like, oh, let's go to Italian, or let's go and have,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
That's because there's so many cuisines in South Africa. You cannot actually say this is a South African cuisine, like he's saying. Like, he doesn't really know.
And
Yeah.
because
Bobotie,
again,
isn't it? Bobotie.
Bobotie,
Like,
a buri roll,
Yeah.
but people have
I mean,
sausages.
But for other people, it's not.
Germans have
dog.
sausages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like it's a hot dog.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
You know, it would be something, or like what would be like? I mean, a corn dog.
Boikikos?
Yeah, I don't know.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it is revolting.
Yeah.
Boikikos.
Yeah.
But still, that's just
It's a stew.
Yeah.
like, and also what's interesting is when you get into a South African cuisine, if you go and ask an Ndebele person, they make very different pap from Xhosa. It's different. They don't make the same. So you can't even say there's a South African. You need
Pap,
to even drill down further. So my father's Xhosa and my mother's Bedi.
Yeah.
So stamp and beans.
I'm
Stamp
sure
and beans.
there would be fights at home.
Oh,
Like-
God. Oh, no, real thing.
So like, what's the difference? How would you?
You know what? I also don't want to be funny. I grew up in the northern suburbs. Like
Yeah.
by the time I appeared,
Yeah.
Witbank for my first 5 years of life, 6 I was in the northern suburbs of Joburg, and then I'm just any other douchebag whose parents fill up the fridge.
Fourways, but
Yeah,
I was
China.
also from Fourways,
Do you know
China.
what I mean? I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what of course, I remember when I was going back home. My mum and my dad's villages, because both my parents are like from rural villages, even though they were fortunate enough to, well, not fortunate, they grinded their asses off to get an education. But what the Bedi people eat, even the pap is different. But anyway, Xhosas will eat samp more. Samp beans, it's a bigger thing down there, right? For my Bedi family, it's pap, and even a certain what they call morogo, which would be spinach, I guess, if we're out here, right? Morocco and Limpopo is very, very different to what my father's family in the Eastern Cape was eating. So my point is, when you say South African cuisine, we don't even know what that is ourselves. So forget telling an Italian I want to go to a South African restaurant, because if you said, go and eat this, and I've always heard it being put as African food. But I can guarantee you a vendor person is going to say, we don't eat that.
What is this?
Yeah, that's not us.
Yeah.
But I think, do you know what I'm saying? Forbidden.
Yeah. No. I totally agree with you. Like,
Zulu people, vendor people,
they
we
have
eat
their
different
own.
things.
Yeah, like it's just we just super diverse, bruh. We super diverse. And
it gives us.
But that's what we love about it.
advantage.
Yeah, that's our advantage. Like, there's so many dimensions in everything. Music, food.
300 million people, America.
Imagine now.
I don't even. Sometimes we lose sight of that.
Yeah.
And you know, a country like that where you think and it is the height of individualism, right?
Yeah.
Like, imagine trying to fulfill. It's hard enough. Try being a parent, 2 kids.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to fulfill 2 kids' needs. Like,
Did you ever see that interview or listen to that interview with Obama? I forget who it was who interviewed him, but Obama came to the dude's house and he's like, "Oh, you want an interview? I'll come to your house." So he came to his house and they did a much like this in this sort of format.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. Like, I mean, to be honest, I'm like a political dilettante. Like, not much. It's like a bit of a head in the sand, but also not really like I guess interested in it, to be honest. But that is like it's not I don't think it's a good perspective of my own. It's like something I'd like to change, put it that way. Yeah. But anyway, when I heard Obama speak and he was like, "Cool, you want the job of running the US. Okay. How do you feel about making continuous decisions all the time?" And everyone has, you're not making a decision on like, what would you like for lunch today? Should I wear the blue suit? Should I wear the black suit? Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna speak to the public today, and they may or may not hate me.
The red tie, the blue tie.
But I think that like all presidents, I think,
they go through
have to deal with this,
Hey, listen. To be honest with you, politicians are maybe a bunch of people I have the least sympathy for. Nobody said go into that work.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody said
like
that.
You chose the work. And
well, then do a good job.
Do your job. Get on with it.
Like, if it's something that you want, there must be. I mean, but
people do it
but
for
this
the
is
wrong
like
reasons.
motivations.
Yeah.
Exactly. Correct. I mean, like, what are your motivations?
Yeah.
Because like you were saying just now, and food, I think, is a particularly interesting vehicle, or maybe even like device to demonstrate this. But it's incredible. Food is incredibly powerful because there's a lot of symbolism and meaning that goes with food. Yeah. Particularly when you get to like regional foods, or like you travel to Italy and you go from region to region and you'll have completely different meals, and they'll like defend it. They'll be like, no, like much in the same way, like, dude, your pup sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you made this, but this is wrong. And you're like, well, yours sucks, And it's like a stress point. But I think that because of the way that food is consumed, or like experienced, where it's like in its best place, it's like around a table with people you care about. Yeah. And you're having a conversation, probably reflecting on your day, sharing something that is just enjoyable. That like keeps your human machine running, but also like gives you a lot of joy. Or at least I think if you're someone like me, then I wake up, I think about food. I get to midday, I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat. Get to like mid-afternoon, I'm planning dinner. And my wife will tell you often, I just go ham. I go way too big for dinner. Yeah. I'll be like, at 6 p.m. I'm making lasagna. Yeah. It's going to take like 2 hours. Yeah. I hope you're ready, This is a food of love.
Yeah, we're doing a thing here.
That's my favorite dish as
well. But then when you get to 9:30 p.m. and she's like,
"Are you done yet?"
I haven't. I'm gonna die now. Yeah. Like, what? I don't care what lasagna you made.
Just make some food.
Yeah, she jokes. I mean, if we didn't have like tin sardines, which is a bit sort of controversial given what I'm sure we're going to chat about in terms of sourcing of quality food. Sure. Yeah. But tin sardines are a very cheap way of getting like fish protein, basically. But that on sourdough, That's my hipster man.
Really?
Wow.
That's you, huh?
Oh yeah, that's.
Lucky
Excellent.
Starfish, or
I didn't even know the brand, to be honest. I just walk into Checkers and often they have a special going where it's like
Yeah.
50% off, and you're like, damn, I'll take a whole tray, and I
Yeah.
literally just pull a whole tray out the side, Checkers card.
Let's go.
you and the money.
Yeah.
Look, before I get into that, and it's interesting that you used food, right, as like a thing. So it's something I've become more conscious about, and Forbidden and I have been talking about it, just sort of dabbling in and around.
Yeah.
Like, we spoke a little bit. We had a guy called Malcolm Bass on a while back. Said to him, and we started talking about addiction and that kind of way of consuming. It's interesting what you said about food there, but I just want to tell you. So Forbidden, your thoughts on, and it's funny, we were talking about it this afternoon.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. We weren't even talking.
Yeah.
We were just talking. We were talking about food, and I was saying how I think about food now. But I actually met a really interesting guy. I think I don't know if I've told you the story, but I was on a 6-month trip in Argentina or in South America, and I met a very, very, very interesting guy in America. Anyway, I was a whole different guy then. I was there for partying, and anyway, I eventually, after 2 months of this trip, I was just with the boys and we were getting hammered. And after 2 months, I said, guys, we can get hammered at home. I want to do stuff, because it was basically we were on the hamster wheel for two months, right? Just get hammered.
1 week.
You know what I mean?
1 week.
And then go to a different country, hammered. It's like,
Yeah, what do you
It's the
remember?
same thing.
do you know what I mean? And we're like, I can do this at home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, so eventually I met this Argentine guy. Anyway, we're very good friends now, a guy called Juan. And he took me around and let me experience how he does food with his family and his friends. And so single guy, I'll never forget these words. He said, number one, no wonder the British wanted to take over everything. It's a horrible place to live. And they can't grow anything there, and their food's terrible. A little bit in jest. But another interesting thing he said to me was, the problem with you guys in the Western world is you don't touch your food. And that'll never leave my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything we have, it's in cans.
Yeah.
And essentially it's, I am hungry. I want to stop being hungry.
Yeah.
So not how am I going to
I'm
feel.
just gonna
As long as I go
swallow
from.
something.
It's
the id.
You know what I mean? The id indeed. And
Yeah.
it's never left my mind. But back then I was just like, get some beers in me. I don't even know what this guy's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, it took me until probably, I'd say I've only started taking it seriously in the last 3-4 years. I'm 35 now.
Yeah.
I've only really started taking it seriously in the last 3-4 years, which
Yeah.
is crazy to me. And what's even more crazy is my mom's always taken, my mom's a doctor, right?
Yeah.
And she's always, when we were young,
Yeah.
no sweets in the house, like greens.
Yeah,
You know,
she
1
did you a
week.
solid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why you were so rebellious.
Hey,
Hey.
Yeah, well, I
these
mean,
rules.
you know,
That's like, Mama, come on.
yeah, you know, then you're like, whoa, Mom, I've discovered this thing called a bar one.
Yeah. Like, what?
Have you ever eaten a Tim Tam?
Yeah, that's it.
Go get my belt.
That's it. But she was never like that. It was just it's just health conscious, and she'd always say these stupid things like, "Your brain must develop."
Yeah.
As though she knows anything. I always used to say to her, "You're not even a real doctor. You know, she's a psychiatrist. You're not even a real doctor."
You say-
I say that to her all the time. But you know, when I think back now, I was like, "Oh my goodness." I had a head start, you know. When I went to
Absolutely.
varsity, chemistry, genetics.
Well, first 1,000 days. Eh?
Mm.
I mean, the first 1,000 days are crucial, which is you really, really, really need to pay attention to what you feed young people.
Okay.
And I think that's really, like, it isn't spoken about, I think, enough. It's always, and like, you know, that's probably coming from some place of privilege where you can actually like select the food that you eat versus like what can I afford, which is many, and particularly here, many people's reality is, damn, like can I even eat something?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
today, and that you know, but perhaps that isn't, you know, there. I think there may be like two different conversations, and personally, I like this. I have a bit of an issue with like human optimization kind of speak.
So before we get there, I just want to tell you, it's really, really interesting. I'll see if I can find the article. My mom is the biggest Luddite in the history of mankind, right? I always say to her, I don't know how you figured out a medical degree because my mother can barely send an email. And
She's into people.
it's they're ridiculous. So figure out an email. And But she did do a second doctorate in early childhood development. So what you're starting to talk about is right up her alley, and I've had some interesting chats with her. So it is interesting, and I've actually asked her to come on the show, and we can just call her in. But yeah, these old people. What are you gonna? She never wants to join us.
Yeah, that'd be fascinating.
No, anyway. And you were getting somewhere interesting, and I will try and find her published work, and
that'd be great.
And see if I can post it up. I'll put the link in if I can find it. I'll ask her, but
well, I mean,
like pulling blood from a stone with this woman, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, you just maybe you just gotta like tee her up right.
Yeah.
It's gotta be like, Mom, you gotta come and see this thing I've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll cook you dinner.
Yeah. You gotta do that.
Yeah. Thing is, if she comes here, she's cooking dinner. My mom's an unbelievable cook.
Please bring me food.
Yeah. Oh, she is. Oh, she makes rice. We can both have the same contents. I don't know what she puts in there.
It's love,
the same.
man.
Oh, get out of
That's
town.
the thing about cooking. Honestly, cooking is about attention and transferring. And it sounds woo-woo, but it's about transferring like an energy thing.
100%.
Yeah.
There's no, anyone can. Really, cooking is baked into us. I think it's like we as we kind of figured out the fact that we can cook stuff.
Yeah.
With fire.
Yeah.
Things change pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because then you start like, you chuck an animal on the spit and you're like, or on like fire.
Yeah.
Which probably happened, but no one really knows how, but it would have happened, and they go, "Whoa, man, this tastes so much better."
Yeah.
Also, I can chew it a lot better.
Yeah. It's quicker in the mouth. Yeah.
Also, if I
we're not dying. I'm also not dying.
I'm also not dying.
Because once I eat it,
I'm not throwing up.
Yeah.
Bleeding from the inside because
Yeah.
I'm eating raw wolf or whatever.
But it was all like a result of focus, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's currently where we're I think many people are headed to like this unconscious place, or exist in a space of some level of being unconscious. And that's not saying like they aren't aware of the fact that they're human and they wake up and they're like, oh, I've got these things that I want to do and I want to achieve something today, or like this thing gives me meaning, and like I'm a bit sad today, or like I'm a bit happy today. Those sorts of interrogations that you have with yourself. But the eventual outcome, I think, of us almost systematically disconnecting from our genetic like roots, really, like our prime directives, is going to end up in a place where I don't know where meat comes from. I buy it at the store. I don't know where plants come from. They, I just go to the shop and get it. Yeah. And then I follow the instructions on the back of the pack and I make this thing called a stroganoff or something, whatever you cook,
Yeah.
And that, I don't know, to me that's sad. I think that food, or understanding like why you like how to get something that is edible is something to be revered, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So Andrew is a person who plants his own food.
Hey, Andrew's on another level.
He's on another level, guys. Hey, guys, sorry, guys. This is a different breed we're talking to right now. This guy doesn't go to your normal Pick n Pay, your normal Checkers, Woolworths. Yeah. This guy does his own thing in his own backyard.
As much as we can.
How is that? Like,
well, maybe if I start.
But
from the top.
Before I let you go, right? Because there's a whole.
Hey, my man.
It's wild stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I was just thinking. So I'm a big fan of what history is available. To the victor goes the spoils. But I don't know how many people think of food this way. Is food has shaped how the world is built. Like, I don't think a lot of people, or maybe they do, actually. It's a little sanctimonious to say, is that once we went through something, it's about 6,000 years ago, roughly, in China. We call it the agricultural revolution, right? And we went through this thing. Now we don't have to be, the world gets less dangerous.
Yeah.
Because if I don't have to move around and I stay where, I can grow my food.
Yeah.
No, man. Why am I chasing, my friend got killed by a wolf when we went to go hunt for food. No, I can grow my food here.
Yeah.
Let's stay here. And it's the sort of from there, as you track time, you know, different parts of the world, how difficult it actually. So Scandinavia, for instance, everybody always says the Scandinavians are so innovative. No. They were forced to be innovative because they've got 3 months of sun per year, so they had to have technology to store things. You had to be able to create more so that you could store it as well. So their innovation is deeply tied to food. Their society as we see it today, Volvo, there's a very deep psychological reason why Volvo looks like it is. People say Scandinavians are functional. They had to be to live.
They have to.
They had 3,000 years ago, they had to be. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist as a people if they weren't incredibly innovative just for the core baseline of survival. My point is, food is at the very core, the essence of the fabric of our society and how we've shaped it. And you can go, if you are interested in this topic, and I can't imagine why you wouldn't be.
Food.
The agricultural revolution is... I almost feel like it's put to the side when we talk about why any society looks like it looks. People will say South American people are lazy. Oh, well, they got great food. Why would I want to build buildings and have investment banks? They've got awesome food and awesome weather. But okay, I just wanted to kind of point out that food has shaped the world. I know people say money, but food has shaped how we've built our various societies. And I find it interesting what you were saying just now. And I don't know if you're going towards how functional we are in our diets instead of, you know, it takes you 2 hours to cook your food. And do you do that when it's for you or for your wife only, for when it's other people?
No, I mean, it depends, man. I suppose from a cooking, like I guess I have the kind of the privilege to treat it as some form of expression of like an artistic kind of interest. But yeah, I'll cook a lasagna for my wife and no problem. It doesn't really matter. Like to me, it's like there's a lot of like I meditate while I cook.
Okay.
That's my like you know, what is it? If you work with your mind, relax with your hands. It's that kind of philosophy. So I mean, like making pasta. It's just a great experience. Can take forever. Can take really quick. Depends what you want to make. You got to start.
Do you make your own pasta or do you?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Guys, he makes his own pasta, ne?
Dude, it's easy.
Get out of here, bro.
I can teach you in like 5 minutes. You'll never buy store-bought pasta again, I can guarantee you.
For real?
Get out of here, bro. You make your own pasta?
Yeah, I make my own bread, make my own pasta.
And so
when last have you been to a market?
What, like a supermarket?
Yeah.
I mean, I go look, we need staples. Like they're quite difficult to get. For example, butter is fairly expensive to make, which is the reason why it's fairly expensive to buy. So if I see it on sale, stock up. But then you buy we'll buy like 8 blocks of butter, put it in the deep freeze. Off you go. So we go for like staples and stuff, but it is very rare that we'll buy meat, for example, from a supermarket. Once you understand how those systems need to function in order to like...
Do you eat meat?
Yeah. So there's nothing I don't eat.
So you don't buy meat from the market?
No.
So where do you get your meat first?
Well, I'll do a plug because they deserve it, honestly. Actually, there's a number of people. There's one called Mbulelo. Their operation that you can order online. And their meat is sourced... It's all like grass-fed, pasture-raised stuff, so you don't have to... There's no like feedlots, which like... is bad for the animal to start if you want to do like first principles. Because then, you know, like animals don't need to necessarily suffer as much as they do to get meat. But yeah, so Mbulelo is an excellent one. There's another one called Meet the Farmer. You might have seen ads for them and stuff. Their marketing game has been pretty strong. But same sort of vibe. So you can place an order. They won't. Mbulelo are a little different, but for Meet the Farmer, for example, if you want, let's say we want to have like we want lamb on the weekend. They'll be like, oh, that's cool. We're only slaughtering in like 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
So you're like, cool. Place an order now, then you wait
for that.
And then they'll come and they'll deliver it to you. But you know that meat that you get has been sourced from a farm somewhere where the animals have been taken care of. Look, you make assumptions too, because unless you can actually see the facility for yourself, you won't
Yeah.
really know for sure. But it's going to be, you compare pork, for example,
Yeah.
from somewhere like Meet the Farmer or Bullenbush is like pink.
Yeah.
It's like almost red. Like most people wouldn't associate pork with being like a red meat.
Yeah. Red
right?
meat. Yeah.
But you see the pork in like a, I don't know, a Pick and Pay or something, and it's like, I mean, it looks benign. It looks like it was printed.
Yeah.
Like some
Yeah. That purple thing.
exactly. And you're like, oh cool, that's what a pork chop looks like, And you eat it and you're like, eh. And you know what? Because that animal was stuck in a metal cage and was basically force fed its entire life, and it was forced to just, generally they're sows, so it would just be producing piglets and piglets and piglets, and then one day someone walks into it, stands in front of it, shoots a bolt into its head, cuts it up.
Okay. I'm gonna look at food differently after this.
Yeah.
You should.
I-
You should pay attention.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It's funny you say this, right? 2 weekends ago, I went to the biggest hippie festival in the world. I've
You.
never seen so many hippies. This place is called Bryanston Organic Market.
Yeah.
Away.
Oh my goodness.
You've been there.
Oh yeah.
The wildest people. But because
Yeah.
I think I'm a pretty open person.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not uncomfortable in those spaces.
Mm-hmm.
For me, because it's a whole different world, by the way. Bryanston Organic Market is not for everybody. It's like people travel badly because they always say they want to take what their standards of living wherever they go,
Yeah.
and then everything's a nightmare. So because of
Particularly
my
the first
travels,
world.
yes, we all do. Anyway, I went there and I ordered this grape juice.
Yeah.
Dude, I opened it and I drank it. I had one sip. It was so hectic.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, is this off?
Mm.
And then I said, no, I have to take this thing home, bro. Because it's too much for me right now. But
Yeah.
I still got to do some shopping.
It tasted good.
So sour.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
But I got home and I thought, no, man. I tried some of the stuff there.
Yeah.
Everything there is
Yeah.
fresh.
But this grape juice.
But what the reason was is, this is what it's supposed to taste like. Because my tongue didn't realize something without preservatives.
Yeah. Oh.
This was a grapefruit juice.
Yeah.
This wasn't grapefruit juice plus preservative
Yeah.
plus...
Ish. Ish.
Because, in the shops, they're making it so it can go down your throat.
Yeah.
Well, also
Ha-
it's
get
cheap.
Yeah.
Get another one.
Yeah.
That's what they're making. There, that was... Afterwards,
Yeah.
I put it on some ice, had it with some more fruit. It was so delicious when I was like, no, man. This is actually antioxidants. My body, this is nutrition.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing on my tongue is, what have you been eating?
Yeah.
There's the problem here. Because your tongue is an educational tool as well. This is what a lot of people don't when
Yeah.
when it's too sour here, something's wrong, Chief.
Yeah, because you might die.
Yeah.
The acidic balance.
You might die.
Yeah. No, but
You'd be like, you're gonna take a bite of that sheep, dude. That sheep has been lying there for like 4 days.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, dude. Like, I got it. Doesn't smell too bad to me.
Yeah.
And then when you're vomiting and shitting your guts out and you die, they go, well, guess we shouldn't eat those sheep. But we've done that. You see, like we've solved these problems. So why?
Are we doing the same mistake?
I don't know. Well, it's more like if you have a selection of meat, and meat is an interesting topic because meat is chronically underpriced.
Yeah.
It's way too cheap. It should be, I mean, if you think of how much you'd have to invest, if like the three of us were like, cool,
Yeah.
let's get some cows and start selling meat. And that was our idea. It would cost a shitload because we'd have to find land.
Yeah.
We'd have to figure out, okay, cool, we're not going to raise these things on grain because that's not what they eat.
Yeah.
They eat grass and
Yeah.
and like in more than you can imagine
Yeah.
amount of it
yeah.
Every day they just
all day. They just chow. And they're
massive.
yeah, they're enormous. And they like roll around and you're like, well, that one's a bit sick.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, do you want to cross the threshold
Yeah.
of injecting it with stuff to keep it alive? Or do you want to let nature take its course?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, well, there's a whole animal that just fell over in the field. I have a friend who lives in the Midlands, and
Yeah.
he once told me, hey, dude, one of my cows died, so I've had to rent a bulldozer so I can dig a hole in the ground and just bury it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're like, okay, cool. So you'd have to do stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But yet you walk into Pick and Pay and you'd be like, damn, that
Yeah.
steak is expensive.
Yeah.
And it's like $100 a kg or something. But in reality, we should be paying like 500-600 rand a kg. And but look, in reality, if you're buying food that's of a high enough quality, you don't need to eat as much of it to start. So you don't need to have a 1 kg T-bone.
Yeah.
You can get away with like 150-200 grams of high quality ribeye or something
Yeah.
that you did pay for more for, but you eat that once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah, you have, we need so much less than, like we were chatting about this a bit earlier, but
Yeah.
you need so much less to
Yeah.
survive. You just need like 1 meal a day. I reckon like most people would be all right with, as long as that meal was as high quality as you could
Yeah.
get.
I can relate to that because, like, I find myself working the whole day, and the only meal I'll eat is afternoon, and I'll feel
Yeah, well,
full.
what are you eating?
a normal meal, pap, veggies, meat.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. As long as it's like high
Yeah.
quality, balanced, and
Yeah.
you aren't someone you're like, whoa, it's Saturday, it's cheat day,
Yeah.
Cinnabons,
Yeah.
and you eat like 3 Cinnabons, and you pass out on the couch in front of some sort of,
Cheat
I don't know, and your body just is dying, and you're like 3 steps away from diabetes.
Yeah,
and you do that on Sunday too, because you're like, oh, I feel so bad,
That's
but all
it.
I want
Yeah.
is carbs.
yeah.
I don't know why, I just want carbs all the time. And then you get to Monday, and you're like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna eat the lunch that I had planned. You know, you can't get a Cinnabon and stuff. But I mean, these are, I think, like those sorts of patterns that people get into, or which is like kind of the unconscious side, what I was kind of talking about earlier, is it's very, very easy to fall into that hole of losing connection with like and this might appeal to you, like your chemistry, your understanding of the actual nuts and bolts that are making you feel like this. So like, why is it that when I wake up in the morning, all I can think about is coffee, for example?
Yeah.
And that's a whole other thing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But the point of the matter is, like, a lot of the cravings that you have, you shouldn't just give into and be like, oh damn, like all I can think about is that Big Mac burger. And you're like, why, dude? Why that? Of all the things you could choose to eat, you think of a Big
Why?
Mac? Is it because you ate like 3 this week
Yeah.
that you could have used that money and bought like 3 chickens
Yeah.
if you find the right people? And then you could have taken those chickens, roasted one of them, used its bones and made a stock, and used the stock to make a risotto. Or
Oh, I like that.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know. You know, why do you think it is forbidden? Why do you think we like this?
I don't know, bro. We just like this. I cannot explain it.
I think we've been trained to be like this.
Yeah.
So you think the fact that I'm waking up thinking about a McDonald's burger,
Yeah.
It's not entirely your fault.
It's just.
and that's an interesting one
Mm-hmm.
because I think we're living, and it's tough to say because I've heard this so many times. I wonder if I'm just regurgitating what I've heard enough times.
Yeah.
But I kind of get this feeling, right? And look, it is linked to the economic system we've chosen
Yeah.
because,
Have we chosen it?
It was given.
well, I guess if you
Like
have
you
a
and I. Like you and I.
if you have a bank account,
Yeah.
you're an active participant. You're participating,
Yeah.
but not with all of the full spectrum of free will, in my opinion.
I know what you're saying.
In the Socratic method of a free citizen, I am not. The full spectrum of choice is not available to me, I feel.
Yeah.
As a
You probably wouldn't want it, even if it was.
sure.
Yeah.
You'd be
Well,
like, what? No, you can deal with that. I mean, I have to decide if that guy needs to go to prison or not.
No,
it's
yeah.
cool. You can have that responsibility.
yeah, and also I don't really want to dig roads. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to decide where prisoners should go.
You probably would, though, if it was your own, like, village.
Yeah. You would.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't want to decide who the people are that clean my house.
You don't want to.
I want to listen to music.
You'd probably clean your own
Or
house.
don't
Well,
want to.
I just mean like clean the streets. I don't want to decide who cleans my water. The water sanitation people.
Yeah, I mean-
I just wish there was an app for that.
You're all right with the privilege that you've... Because, I mean, that is a privileged position.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, I mean, it's all right. I think it's okay to be all right with that sort of stuff. Because if you want to go against the grain
Yeah.
and be like, oh, I'm going full off grid,
Yeah.
you're going to put in some graft.
And I do know people with permaculture farms, so it is not a holiday.
No, and it shouldn't be.
Which is such an interesting thing you're saying, right? That, and I wonder, because I think food, results are always more enjoyable. You can go toil to end result, and generally, not always, but in my personal life, like, to get to where I work now and the people I work with awesome people like Forbidden and some of the business partners. I mean, it's kind of been a 9-year journey, but really my 20s were like super tumultuous, right? And it's easy to say in hindsight, as with anything, but I've been through so much toil that I put myself in my 20s in horrendous life positions. Please, I come from a middle-class family, great parents, never abused, like awesome family, awesome. Both my parents are awesome. And then my 20s were just a mess. But the toil to get where I am now makes it so sweet.
Yeah, because it's yours.
Yeah.
Or at least like it was your graft. It wasn't like, hey, here's this thing.
Yeah. No, sure.
Do you want which? And I mean, if you, geez, we can go deep into the philosophy of choosing like your path, I suppose.
Yeah.
But if you're in school and you're an infant effectively in the grand scheme of things, because no 18-year-old knows what the fuck is going on.
No.
Yeah.
And they don't know for a good while after that too.
Yeah.
Unless you really do know, and then you're probably going to be like, no, all I've thought about my entire life is this one thing. Yeah. And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And you get those people, and that's great. But I think the majority of people aren't like that. They like kind of get through school, and you're like, oh God, like what do I do now?
What's next?
And everyone's like, dude, I'm 40 and I don't know either.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the fuck is going on. And then you have to make a choice. And if you can successfully navigate that phase for however you get through it, then yes, I think you would generally be a person who might be like, well, I actually worked pretty hard for this, so I think I'll put in more effort, be more grateful, that sort of thing,
No, absolutely. I mean, Forbidden, we talk about that all the time, right? It's Forbidden always says he's done his 10,000 hours, and we talk about the entertainment landscape. I think Forbidden kind of understates that he's touched every part of the entertainment industry in this country, done well beyond 10,000 hours. But for me, it goes to what we were talking about, that passive consumption is bred by, if you don't have to toil for it, and this is all of us, by the way, even what we call poor people today, right? If you think of just you're walking into Boxer, Pick and Pay, Checkers, Woolworths. Again, there's steak. I'm taking it home. But you don't see, which is why it's so easy now. It's so easy. Put more in my mouth. It's so easy. I don't understand.
I think Woolworths might be a better kind of example, purely because Woolworths is kind of it's pitched at like wealthy, privileged people.
Sure.
Really. Right. So like, whereas a Checkers or like a Pick and Pay or something is like really like, okay, cool, like people need to eat. And we'll service that need. So like someone who's maybe like, well, like, I've just got enough money to afford like chicken pieces, for example.
ShopRite.
Exactly. So you're like, cool. You're kind of choosing on what like is you can like reasonably obtain, as opposed to like, I wonder if I'd like the herb marinated one, or like it's a different
Portuguese
reality.
chicken.
It's a different. It's like two organisms
Coexisting, but not really.
They're separated. Two different strata. Of society. So yes, but I fully know what you mean from Woolworths, because you walk in there and you're like, I'm gonna drop some bank today. I'm gonna spend a lot of money here, and you know that.
No, hey, listen. But even all of us, you think of even the person who's now eating to survive, right? The mine worker, the guy working in someone's garden. Relative to 250 years ago, or actually how hard it is to get food.
Yeah, I mean, no comparison.
You know what I mean? It's so easy now. So it kind of makes sense to me when I think about it like that. And hey, I've got the time, right? Is when it's so easy, why wouldn't I gorge myself? Why wouldn't I be, even if I'm rich, right? And I have the time to think, okay, I know and what you were talking about earlier, I could probably get away with a meal a day. Because really what it needs, and the sciences, we call it complex. So what you need is a complex diet. So your body actually has to synthesize what you eat.
Yeah.
But it's because it's aligned to your chemistry.
Yeah.
When you synthesize it, your body processes it, and it's actually made to be processed slowly. That's what you really want. Complex carbs. Instead of like processed bread, you have artisanal bread. It's going to take, I'm going to put a hypothetical number of 8 times longer to digest and synthesize before you even get to the digestion. To synthesize and get to work and catabolize. We're always in a catabolic state. So
big things.
To do these things like beat your heart, that takes trillions of processes. Like we take that for granted. But that isn't, if your diet is at a premium and eventually you get everything, you can go and get your genetics done. It's pretty easy to map that out now. If you do these things like Andrew's, a meal a day would be more than enough. We know that. But the Woolworths types, I go to Woolworths.
Hey man, people like eating.
People just eat for.
I love food. It's like there is little joy that comes close to sitting down and going like, you know what?
So what's your favorite dish? Okay,
I think it's
apart from lasagna.
I think lasagna is excellent.
It is.
But I love it too.
But there's like lasagna and then there's lasagna. Like there's and it comes out. Often it generally happens at restaurants if you order a lasagna and it comes out and you're just like, oh god, yes, that is it. Like this thing was made by some. You just think in your head like some Italian mama in the back. Just you know what I mean? Like you go like full
I'm with you, dude.
That's what I love about lasagna.
The paprika.
It's full send. It's like it's full fat food. You know? It's like it's wonderful. But I think cuisine would probably be a good one. And it always comes back to me. It's probably like Ethiopian food.
Oh,
that is magic food. That is like
really.
That is food to like nourish and feed the soul. And like you were saying earlier,
Ethiopian food. Okay.
Eating with your hands. I only eat with the hands.
And
it's magic, man. You sit around we were in Uganda a few years ago, and we went to this restaurant where I was blown away by like the simplicity of food that's prepared, that has like a lot of history, that hasn't changed, this is the way it's been done for so long. You sit down and you can see why. You're like, there'll be like small portions of lentils and they're all prepared in different ways, and so you have one and it like explodes your mouth. You're just like, damn, that's fire. And then the next one is completely just calming, and then you'll have like chicken and it's perfectly cooked, and like it's just respecting each ingredient, as opposed to like, I'm gonna go and order like a cheese steak. I'm with you. Like, what is going on inside my face now? I can taste cheese and salt and my like tongue's exploding. Like it's really oily, but I kind of like it. Like inside what is happening? Where was this made in a lab?
It's true. The human tongue, and I always used to wonder in genetics, why the hell are we doing 6 months of study on this thing? All it does is allow me to swallow water, and it is such a sophisticated tool, but we use it like a jackhammer. It is a surgeon's knife. It's telling you what to eat. Your tongue is one of the greatest pieces of evolution. And we ignore it all the time. Because when you eat a burger. You know.
Oh, but you get burgers.
Hey, bro.
And then you get burgers.
And then you get burgers, but.
And you make your own burger. Like make the whole thing.
You do that as well.
Oh yeah.
Look, we'll come back to that. I think.
Man, Andrew's the one.
He's a different guy. Huh?
Nah, he's a different guy. My man, everything.
You must. Look, I get like it's not for every, because it takes graft. Like it takes hours. I mean, you're like, there's a lot of things I probably take for granted now just because I've done them so many times. You know what I mean? Like I can make a mayonnaise in minutes. Honestly, it's easy.
The most easiest thing.
It's like one of the easiest things to make. Or curry, also straightforward. But like there's nuances to absolutely everything that you'll cook that you'll start to obsess over. Like I don't know, curry's a good one because that's an endless hole of perfectionism.
Oh really?
I mean, I think like those sorts of foods where, particularly peasant food. Actually, I think is probably my favorite food. If you were to like group it, and the reason, because you would have to work with like nothing. You'd have like, hey, we got like these lentil things. I'll use lentils as an example too, because you can make a number of different foods with them, but you'd be like, they taste horrendous. I don't want to eat lentils. They taste like, I don't know, like nothing, you know? So then you get like a small spice like cumin, and you're like, oh, this cumin's even better if we roast it.
Yeah.
And then if we combine it with something like paprika and turmeric, then we start getting into some different territory. And like Indian food and African food and Asian food all have their examples of that kind of attention to resources, where they are like finite, and using what you have available and producing food that just you can't, like you've never tasted things that are made with that attention to detail. Like you were saying about your tongue, is that if you give your tongue the time to become itself in a way, because I think most people's palates are completely buggered.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell the difference between, hey, is this umami or is this like witchcraft? You know, but umami is a flavor and you can recreate it. It's like that's Japan, man. They got umami down.
Listen, they do. Again, I want to go back to the tongue. It's an extremely useful thing. Is you ever heard somebody say they got a sophisticated palate? I'm not sure if you ever heard that term. That's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
I know. Again, it goes to people underplay this thing. A sophisticated palate is a real thing, and that's not to say, oh, I need to go and taste the best wines.
Yeah.
No. Your tongue. It's people that listen. Yeah. When it lands on here, listen.
Listen to
when salt revolts you.
Yeah.
You may be allergic.
Yeah.
But we don't listen.
Yeah.
No, man. I need this thing.
I just want.
And by the way, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious is not a good reason to do anything. Your tongue's talking to you, and Andrew, you're making such a good point. But if you're talking like this, here's what would interest me. And I mean, obviously, the food and the way you're living and sort of that side of things is an interesting. But if you're talking like this in a world where it is an option for you, you're a working man. Your wife, I don't know if she works, but you look like you live in a home. You look like you've washed today. I presume you have a home.
Yes, I have a home.
So you've got enough money to go to Pick and Pay and just buy stuff in a can.
Yeah.
What it's leading me to think, and I may be wrong, is that you've thought this doesn't sound to me like, oh, I'm just going to do food. I'm going to think about food and how I consume it and what it's doing to me and what it's doing to the people around me. It sounded a little bit like you want to buy from certain farmers because they tap into a sort of philosophical sort of side to you. That would lead me to think this isn't just about food.
No.
Because it can't be.
No.
Yeah.
Because you've chosen such a difficult one, and this one is between life and death. So this is the hardest one for you to think about.
Yeah.
Because really, food is no food dead, food alive, and so this is the end, right? You've gone to the boss on Mortal Kombat, which would lead me to
a new movie, by the way.
I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical.
I just want to see Sub-Zero just wreck some shit, to be honest with you.
Get over here!
And tell me something. Have you seen the trailer, Forbidden?
No, I haven't seen it.
They've never made a good Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, the first one had nostalgia.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw Goro with 4 arms, and you're like, damn, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Now it's janky. Now you're like, Jesus, this is awful. Now you watch it to laugh at, you know. But the new one, I don't know, man.
I haven't seen the new one.
I'm super nostalgic when it comes to movies in particular.
Me too.
It's like an art form. It's an art form to just be enjoyed,
Comes with
not
an age,
not
bro.
not like diagnosed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't.
That's fine.
Because Mortal Kombat was such a big part of my childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you played the video game.
I did. And
Yeah, so it'll always be cuck.
But you know what? I watched that first movie. Was Candice Hillebrand in that, or was she in Tekken?
I think she was in Taken.
Oh,
Tekken,
okay.
Funny story, I was on KTV Spark Park once,
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
and Candice Hillebrand was the, what do you call her? What do you call those people?
Host.
Like the host?
Yeah.
Hostess.
Yeah.
Host.
She wasn't very nice, I have to say.
Oh, she wasn't nice to you.
Yeah, no offense,
Hey.
Candice. I don't know you.
If you're that good looking, listen. If I was that good,
I was also
looking,
like 9, so
Yeah.
so you didn't understand that
Hey, all I know
she'd
is-
won a genetic lottery.
I just wanted to win. I just wanted to win the competition, which we did do.
Did you win?
We did.
Nice. What did you win?
Camera and I think some money.
Oh my God! At 9 years old,
Yeah.
how much money? Like $500.
Who knows, dude? It was a long time ago. There's a video of it somewhere at my parents' house. I can't find it, though.
Hey, Candice Hillebrand.
Yeah.
If I've always said to people, If I was good looking, if I was the male version of Candice Hildebrand, are you kidding me? I would be unbearable. People say I'm unbearable now, and I'm not. Listen, I'm no Picasso. Candice Hildebrand, get out of here. Genetic lottery winner.
Yeah.
You can't say anything. You got a wife. Your wife's the most beautiful woman in the world, Andrew.
Yes.
Let's get that
Let's
very
agree
clear.
on that.
Let's get that very clear. So,
If they kick you out, you ain't coming to my house. So.
Listen, your wife is probably a sophisticated person. She's probably not watching this.
Yeah.
But
She
just
might
in
be. I
case.
sent her the link.
Okay, well, just in case.
She's
She said
watching.
she was having some trouble, but I think it was pre-go live. So hopefully she's watching it. But yeah,
Okay.
she would be a wonderful person to get on.
No, certainly will.
Yeah, we should get on.
She is very well formed, well kind of self-interrogated perspectives that I think would benefit anyone who would listen.
So I want to get to no, that's cool, and we'll definitely get on. There's absolutely no reason why not. But what started this? Because this isn't just about food.
No, actually, I think it must have been like after school where I started having some sort of interest in nutrition. And in fact, it was psychology before then. I was kind of interested as to why, as someone who's kind of suffered from lifelong just like depressive bouts, it's just like part of my, I think it's just part of like my genetic makeup is I'm just that way wired. I'm not always like, I just felt that there would be a reason for it, that it didn't feel like me, like it wasn't, I kind of like didn't want to identify with it. So that led me down the psychology path, which can be pretty treacherous because you're basically playing with like your operating system. But then ultimately it got to what I was eating, and I didn't really take it seriously for a long time. I did for a period, then I kind of fell off the wagon, then I went to varsity, then it fell really off the wagon because I had no money, so I was eating like whatever food I could afford, which was little spring rolls that were $5 at UJ.
At UJ, yeah, and at R5 beers back then.
Yeah, I didn't drink.
Okay.
I was a real like I went to varsity late, so I was just
noodles.
like me. Yeah, I was just.
Were you
like,
there? 5-minute noodles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Whatever wouldn't cost money,
Yeah.
basically, because it was petrol,
Yeah.
like getting to varsity and back. But
Okay.
yeah, then I really got serious about it after I met Carrie, my wife, where she was like, I can't believe you eat this absolute trash. I mean, like I was a video gamer, man. I used to live on Doritos and like Coke, and that gets you through your, like when you're 15 and 16, you can really abuse your body.
Oh yeah.
And it just you wake up strong, you can stay awake till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
No problem. And when you hit your like late 20s,
You start sleeping.
yeah, you start you got to start paying back.
Yeah. Hey, the devil will get his flesh of pound.
Hey, bro.
So so then I she was like, look, let me just show you how to make you some simple things. And I think it started with making like a mushroom sauce for a steak.
Yeah.
So my dad loves cooking, so I was always like familiar with food.
Yeah.
Like I'd always like understood that if you invest time into things, you can like make something that isn't ordinary.
Yeah.
But I never really done it for myself until then. And then I really started exercising aggressively too. I started mountain biking a lot, and that kind of like illuminated just how metabolically unhealthy I was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that had I not course corrected then, I would have become diabetic.
Wow.
And the reason I say that is there were times where we'd be riding and Carrie would stop, or I'd be like, I'm 3 away from passing out. And it wasn't like, yo, I'm tired, like, can we just chill for a bit? There was something very wrong going on. And it was like the curtains were coming down.
Wow.
So vision started being affected, seeing stars, then couldn't stand up because like vision would just basically go to black. And I basically self-diagnosed that this was a massive insulin sensitivity problem. Which led me on to like going after that, because I was like, well, this can be solved. And the solution really was just start eating, paying attention to the food that you eat. So it was increasing fat intake dramatically. That was a night and day change. And then I lost, I think it was, what was I was like, I think I weighed at my heaviest 103, which is when we started riding.
How tall are you?
Like 1'9".
So that's what, 6'4", huh?
Yeah, about there.
You're so 100 kilograms on your frame isn't obese by any measure.
It isn't, but for my what I'm learning is, and I'm still learning, obviously, because I don't think you ever crack this.
No.
100%.
No.
But that my genetics do not do well with that, like that nutrient source. Like easy to digest carbohydrates, for me are like, they need to be managed. And also, like, I need to maintain certain, like, fat. Like, I'll prioritize fat. Just my body works well with it. And it was fairly soon after I started eating fat that, like, weight started to just drop off. It wasn't the exercise. It helped, sure, because you build like lean muscle mass and everything starts working better. But the real loss happened then. And I think in 3 months I lost a bunch, man. I went down to like 85, which was my high school fit, like water polo fit weight, you know. So I was in my, I think 20, must have been what, 27, 28, 26, 27 maybe. I was like peak physical fitness. Just ride. I stopped blacking out. So naturally, when you start paying attention to what you eat, you start to get into cooking. Because I mean, I was like, there's nothing I can really buy. And I did all the stuff, man. I did like the pre-ride shakes and all sorts of things, and protein shakes and this and that. And it doesn't matter, in my opinion, for like 99% of people, unless you're an athlete who like depletes their muscles. You don't need to be like, dude, I went to the gym and I did like 5 squats. And now I'm just loading these protein shakes. Oh. And I'm going to have amino acids this evening. I'm going to take ZMA. ZMA is great for sleep, by the way.
It is fantastic for sleep. It knock people out.
Magnesium, man. That is magnesium and vitamin D. Just take, that's all you need. I don't think you synthesize everything else as long as your diet's right. But after paying attention, I was like, okay, I feel like a different being.
How long did this take? This process. Were you a chunky lad?
Yeah, I mean,
were you round in the stomach area? When your wife met you? Or
probably actually.
So you were round, and then she civilized you, like stop eating Doritos.
She was just
with
like,
your cornflakes.
She was just like, she was like, this seems like a terrible idea. Like like you can do a lot. You can do a lot better, man. So there was we have a nickname for it. It's like Fat Andy, because and it was like I was physically overweight, but there were a lot of parts about me that were kind of systemic, as a result of not paying attention, which, you know, like it ultimately, I think it ends between your ears. Like it's really it's like you that you need to
talk to me about sorry, I just want to know, when you say it was systemic about you, are you talking holistically as in
like the fat, like right, you would and that's not shame, like, please, people, don't come and hate at me from fat shaming or anything. That's I'm not intending to offend anyone, but the fat is like they were like, I wasn't very motivated, didn't really have any like real direction for my life. It's like, so it's more like a symbol of a state that I was in, which would have contributed naturally to being an unhealthy individual.
So talk to me about that, because you touched on depression just now. Do you think that was, were you depressed?
Yeah, man.
And you say it's in the family, or
I don't know if it's in the family, but it's definitely like something that I know. I know it about myself. It's like a reality. It's depression is a complex topic, because I think it's incredibly subjective. I mean, if you look at someone, you're like, oh, you know, they're just depressed, and you're like, do you suffer from depression? Have you been depressed? No, I don't even understand it. You and I cannot have this conversation. It's like a compulsion, in a way. It's like some sort of psychic addiction to some really bizarre neural network that's in your head, and you slot into this thing. It's like you go off the rail, and then you're just in this other state, and it's like a trance, and it's just there.
And you can be there. You can be there for months and
Yeah,
years.
you can be there for an hour.
Yeah.
You can be there for weeks.
Yeah.
But I think that's the crazy thing about depression is it's not, it's like horribly misunderstood by most people.
We're going to get my old roommate on the show. He'll probably be on next week. He is the world's leading expert on bipolar.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Guy called John Hunter. Phenomenal human being.
Amazing.
I lived with him for 8 months, and we'd get into this often. And, my mom's a psychiatrist, so I'm also not glib about it. I have no clue what's happening with depression.
Yeah.
I don't even pretend to. In your case, it's interesting. Do you think you are has it been traced genetically? Have you had a look at it? Have you
No, I mean, like I've spent a good whack of time with psychologists, or one psychologist in particular helped. That's the path, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, if you can stay away from things like SSRIs and all that stuff, I think you should, because they have some pretty big tax.
There are human beings who may not know what SSRIs are.
Yeah. Like basically antidepressants.
Yes.
They got a tax, which even if you get yourself to a point where you can hopefully get off having or needing them, isn't too expensive, because you have to readjust. I mean, you're really fine tuning the, you're going in and you're changing the dials. You're not moving furniture around, if you know what I'm saying. At that stage, yeah. So I think it might be just, I don't know. Like, I mean, at one point he was like, look, you can go down the path of trying to find a single cause, but it won't actually help you, because if you're trying to find a single cause for anything like that kind of precision, you're gonna get to a point, I think, where you're obsessing about things which might seem like the answer, but the kind of path that you're going to burn through reality to get there is it's gonna have, like, it's probably gonna affect you more than coming to terms with the fact, like, I understand this about myself.
Yeah.
My personality is X as a result of whatever. And I'm okay with that, and I'm going to work with what I got, and I'm going to try to be better every day and do things that move me away from the things that make me, or that I can identify that make me depressed or make me
That's
sad.
the nice thing about getting out of depression. You look back and you're like, okay, this and this was just holding me back.
So
this is why I was here.
So Forbidden, it's funny, again, we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Like, Forbidden was telling me, we were just talking about our path to kind of meeting each other, and we're doing cool, like, we do cool stuff now, right? And myself, the voice of God, Michael, who's not here, we're in a cool space, and I'm in a really cool space. It's awesome. We've met over the last 6 months, and things are starting to cook, and it's been a concatenation, right, to this point. All three of us. It's not just, okay, we met now and we're going to start getting busy.
Yeah.
But Forbidden was telling me that the last, sort of from 16 to 19, hey?
17 going into 18, fell into depression. That place is just bad, bro. Because, like, you just in your mind, and you just doubting everything. It's hell.
It's a difficult thing to really explain. I
feel. You can't really explain
with
it
language, but but I believe that if you've been there, for because I'm, people have their own versions of it, I'm sure, because it ultimately, I think, comes down to narrative.
Yeah,
it's like, how are you speaking to yourself?
Yeah,
that is the canary in the coal mine, as well as the solution.
Yeah,
to ultimately what can give you a path out of that current state, because it is like a present state.
Yeah,
it's not like geez, I don't, like, my stomach feels a bit wobbly today, but it's cool, man. Like, it'll like I can just compartmentalize that pain.
Yeah,
it's like your interpretation of reality.
Yeah,
so you've got like a lens.
Yeah,
and that lens colors everything.
Yeah,
and it's not even, that it isn't right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking want to feel like this.
Yeah.
But but I think that the tricky part is actually like is figuring out how to like have compassion for yourself,
Yeah.
because 9 times out of 10 I would wager
Yeah.
that
Same here.
your narrative,
Yeah.
you're quite a dick to yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're like, jeez, dude, you shouldn't get out of bed today because the world doesn't give a fuck
About
about you.
me, yeah.
You don't matter.
Yeah.
You hate yourself.
You don't see no hero when you look at the mirror. You
No,
don't see no.
if you
no
even look at yourself in the mirror.
bruh. In fact, you become afraid of the mirror
Yeah.
while you're in there.
Yeah, you
bruh.
avoid it.
Yeah, you avoid it. Like
Yeah, I get
seriously,
you.
you don't want to see yourself.
It's a
It's hell, bro.
mental health, dude. I think
It's
all
hell.
all of this shit starts with mental health. Like, what's
Yeah.
the point of having a healthy body if you there's no point.
There's no point.
But if you're mentally healthy, you can. Then it's cool, man.
Yeah.
Then you're like, I mean, what is it? If all of us, if we were entirely 100% content,
Yeah.
you wouldn't. And like this goes against everything basically we've been speaking about.
Exactly.
But
that's true.
you wouldn't need anything.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need humans. You wouldn't need. You would just be like. You would literally be like. You would be like a Buddha, right? Which,
Yeah.
And that's an idyllic state that isn't.
Yeah.
Shouldn't necessarily be. I don't think any human should really chase that because
Yeah.
damn, are you chasing a dragon?
Yeah.
Like that dragon. I don't know where that dragon is, and I don't think anyone's found it. But I think they're trying to address your mental kind of
Yeah.
state if you start there. But and even with in my situation, that was really like the lead domino. It was like the first thing was like I need to change the way of how I actually approach myself.
Yeah. In the
Because-
morning, especially when you wake up, you gotta get out of that room. It becomes hard when you're in
Yeah.
depression.
Yeah, dude. And
Hey,
COVID,
bro.
COVID doesn't help that. I mean, suicide rates increase.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But by someone who's had depressive episodes
Yeah.
as long as I can remember, I can totally get it, dude. I can totally see why you could. Oh, there's the
Yeah.
checkout button.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
Over.
I'm out.
Yeah, I can see. And that's the scary part
Yeah.
because the steps, the
To get to that
the distance
checkout.
start to close.
Yeah.
That's where you have worries. But fortunately, I managed to not go down that road.
And nice thing about it, food got me out.
yeah, I would
food.
say me too, dude. Honestly,
Food got me out.
I would say me too.
I started eating because once you're in there, you just don't want to. Even your favorite meals,
Well-
you're just like,
Yeah, you don't even eat.
yeah, you know. But like, I started eating, and
Yeah.
I got out.
Look at him.
That's why I'm so excited to speak to Andrew today
It's like, what
because
witchcraft are you speaking about?
food, bruh. Food, bruh.
No, it makes
Food.
sense to me.
Food.
It makes it that totally. I mean, the reason I was listening so intently, and
Yeah.
if you obviously not in studio, you couldn't see my face there, but I was taken aback.
Yeah.
It's not something I can even imagine, and I don't like to like.
No.
I know the current
Authenticity,
narrative
man.
is I want to. Oh my gosh,
Mm.
oh my word!
Yeah.
No, I have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm here to listen. I'm not even going to try and empathize because there is no authentic place where,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest with both of you right now,
Yeah.
I could come from and pretend to understand what you've just spoken about
Yeah.
outside of a human level. Like in my 20s, I did get myself to a place where I felt valueless,
Yeah.
right? And I think people are dangerous to themselves when they feel like they have nothing to live for.
Mhm.
So, but that's a tiny. For me, it was self-imposed. You guys, what you're
Yeah.
talking about seems a whole nother
Yeah,
level.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. I don't
Those
know
are
how
the
you feel, but
rivers.
Yeah.
like I wouldn't choose to feel like. No, it's
Like
not
that again.
It's not self-imposed. It's
I
like
mean,
it's like something triggers it.
I wouldn't wish it on anybody, bruh. It's
See, what you're talking about is you guys were depressed. I was just a dickhead.
very
No, but we need to be able to say that
Yeah.
because something I'm intolerant of is that everybody gets that ticket.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
If you're a dickhead, we must call you a dickhead.
Yeah.
And I was a dickhead. I was horrible. I was deceitful to my parents.
Yeah.
And then I started trying to, but no,
Yeah.
I don't get that ticket because it's like you guys have
Yeah.
put so beautifully and articulately.
Yeah.
It's a real thing,
It's a real
Absolutely.
thing.
right? And we need to, and I think I guess it is, a new dawn, a new age, and we are we are a young society, but we're in a very dangerous place with this thing because it's becoming a ticket for people. No. I am happy to call people because for myself, and again, it's my personality type, I was just a dickhead.
Yeah.
I wasn't depressed.
Yeah.
Like what you guys have just said
Yeah,
is
I mean,
such another level.
I think like depression might even be an inapt label.
Yeah.
It's something else. It's honestly like, I don't know.
It's the number one
it's like a
killer
state.
on earth
Hold on. So we like
for me.
it's a you know when you say you don't even want to eat,
Yeah.
that's a whole different level.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think even in my darkest days. So in my 20s, Andrew, I guess a bit of perspective is interesting. Like I really eroded from the man I wanted to be, and I was in a lot of trouble. Your business partner knows a lot about early on when I came back from the UK, but I was boozing my face off, kind of sulking the end of a football career, which I did myself. Again, nobody said booze when you have the chance to play English football. Like I had it set pretty good, but there was some other stuff.
It's never simple.
When I wasn't ready to be on my own and have a lot of money. Like the way I left home as well was a huge hole. Like it didn't sit well at home. So when I was there, I never actually enjoyed it. Like football is my favorite thing in the world, right? I don't understand anything else on this planet. I understand football. It is my safe place. Put me on a football field, nirvana, right? But I descended into this thing, and then I came home, and my family relationship had been eroded, and I just felt so lost, and I hid in the booze. And then what happened was my family's great, my parents are great, but then I started to create this pseudo world where I'd lie to people about where my family is, what my parents are doing, like, are they these terrible people? But because I spent so long creating this other world of just telling people I'm a victim and my parents are these terrible people, where actually my mom was like, what are you talking about? Just come home. All the time, by the way. At no stage did her tone ever change. But I created this reality. And then it becomes a monster in me, right?
Yeah.
You understand what we're talking about then, I think.
Yeah.
You probably understand.
But again, for me, I look at it, I'm very crystal clear about it.
But I think it might have something to do with like having an occurrence like that later on in life. I think you'll have different perspective. And you maybe have different resources available to you that aren't like, not resources in like material resources. Like,
no, I understand.
Of your faculties. Do you know what I mean? But if you're a kid, I mean, like, I don't know, it was like 13, 12. Basically, actually, I think adolescence, honestly. There's a trigger there.
Yeah, there's
if
a trigger
I were
there.
to go look for it, that's where it would be.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
somewhere there. Somewhere there, bro. Adolescence.
Weird, man.
Yeah,
But it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like that.
But then my question relates to what you were talking about with food, right? I wanted to go back to sort of...
Food is a savior. I'm going to say this. Guys, it's the savior, guys. Food.
Food, huh?
Food is the savior.
I mean, that's what ultimately sorted out the... For me, it was like the obvious imbalance that was like the metabolic, particularly with the way that I dealt with glycogen. Like that's... If your glycogen ain't working right, your body is going to be... there's going to be problems. I mean, to become diabetic, I think it might be one of the most difficult things to deal with, because it contributes to everything. It affects mood, it affects where you sleep, it's energy levels, it's weight gain, it's circulation, you name it. Like becomes very, very hard to manage.
Yeah. The problem with that one, I don't know if we want to get too scientific. People get bored of science, but once you can't control glycogen and your mitochondria start to struggle, right? So and what you need is your mitochondria really is the hub of energy, right? And once you're starting to not produce mitochondria, you have serious problems, glycogen issues. That's a one-way ticket to, oh my god. And once you go, and energy isn't just so that you can go and do a backflip at the Olympics. Over. No, I just mean the energy the energy to think, to live, to. And this
concentrate.
The body's a sophisticated machine, right? And so this was your world, huh?
Yeah, so that's where I was, and I was like, "Whoa, this is really scary." So food was the way out. I mean, then I paid attention to what I was eating, and it was very quickly like things started to fall into place. And then I got very deep into the paleo diet, or that kind of modality, that kind of philosophy of eating, which is effectively like eat what our ancestors would have eaten. And there's a lot about the subsequently having done this for, I don't know, 10, 12, I don't even know how many years.
Really, that long, huh?
Yeah, or maybe less. 10,
Listen,
I don't know, somewhere around there. But
before you get into the paleo diet, because I want to do a deep dive there. I want to go back to what you guys were talking about with the depression. I just want to pose a question to you guys because it's something I've thought about. Is, because I feel every now and then when I get some time to think, I feel like I'm a commodity to someone all the time. I feel like I'm a commodity to someone.
Is that a narrative or is it like...
I don't know, but I feel like
yeah.
people are selling me stuff all the time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think the human existence has sort of, it's so deracinated now, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm just telling you what I feel often. It's like, is the only thing I can do as a human being is buy stuff. Like,
I mean,
everything about me is shopping malls and buy this and
Yeah.
sculpt yourself by coming to this doctor, which will shape your cheeks. Like,
Everything's just
The
bad.
solution is never yourself.
Yeah.
Like you,
Yeah.
I mean, that, like you, but you like this? Oh, I got a product for that.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like this? Oh, you can make yourself feel very different.
Yeah. This.
Or, that's, I mean, that's the danger. Like it's been, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's been scientifically proven, but it's certainly been proven enough to, in my opinion, that's like social media is a direct channel to, particularly for young people who are forming personality,
Yeah.
like building yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like flicking through your Instagram feed and you're just seeing shit
abs,
that you're being told is a value,
yes,
that you should,
the gold
Yeah.
standard of beauty.
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm not really like that. Oh, I'm like that person. Follow.
Yeah.
And then that person says, oh my God, I've got this new thing. I'm following this new product,
Yeah.
this new paradigm that you should totally inherit if you want to be like me. And you're like, I do want to be like you. Because you haven't,
That's true.
and the danger with young people, I think, is like they haven't had the life experience to
Yeah.
interrogate themselves and go like, yeah, that ain't me, dude.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
You just want to be like everybody.
Yeah, well, you just want
Follow
to
everybody.
find a
Yeah.
place, find value, find meaning.
And look, I hear that, but again, I think for me, I always say the worst thing for me back then when I was in this, it was never the shame. Like people are smart. They're like, what's this guy up to? This is bollocks. You can't always
Yeah.
be.
Well, you're fortunate that you got that feedback, I think.
Absolutely. But for me now, when I look at is all the time, it's like the commodification of eventually, like for me, I feel like what's left, my soul. That's the last thing you're gonna put a number on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that soul. Okay, well, it was born. And I'm not airy fairy, but when I say soul, my very essence of being human, I don't even know what that is anymore because I don't know if I should be nice to people. No, because what and I'm not saying I don't want to
Yeah.
be nice to people.
Yeah.
I have a great desire to be nice to people, but the way I think about life, because of the way I've traversed it till now, is I don't want to take a meeting with you because even if I don't say it consciously, there are no dollars at the end of that.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't see you. You're not valuable to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's just I think it's the only thing that's being offered to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think leading to a depression thing, it's like, if you don't feel valuable, on what level is that? It's like, were you not valuable enough as a human being? Were you not valuable enough compared to other people? Again, this could go back to your trauma point. But my point is, essentially what I said was, when I was young, the most painful thing in the world, I think, is not being alone. It's being lonely. What you're talking, what it's on, and why it hit me so hard. What you guys were saying is there were times when I felt lonely, and I say that is the greatest pain I've ever felt.
Well, I mean, like, not to. Sorry, man. You want to?
Yes, I was just saying, like, is there something called unconscious depression?
I don't. I wouldn't even.
Hey, man. I'm no
I'm not-
psychiatrist.
yeah.
Your mom might.
Yeah,
probably
she
should,
or somebody.
But I would
Yeah.
say so, and
Yeah.
that's the one that you, like, what I was speaking about earlier is like you can go and try and explain these things.
Mm.
You can go and try and find that one thing. Which, like, your example is at least you could identify that it was linked to loneliness. which is like on Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
That's one of the big ones. Like humans need humans. If you separate yourself from other humans, you're guaranteed, in my opinion, to go. You're going in a direction. You're making a choice to pave a road that, like, if you were asking people who were of sound, like mental general health, they'd be like, okay, is this a permanent thing?
Yeah.
And why? You know, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that if you can identify something with like the resolution that it sounds like you've got with like loneliness causes me to feel like this, therefore like I can't accept my life to have loneliness in it, so I'll try and solve it. And I'm making assumptions obviously as to how you, but if you can have that resolution, that's excellent because you've got a way out. But if you don't have, if it's just like arrives, and it's just like this other thing, like this other, it's like another, someone turned the switch and went, oh, let's just turn this to Android version 0.5.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, today's going to be weird.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get through it without too much chaos. And then you go to sleep that night, you wake up the next day, and you're like, aware.
So it's a whole different, whole different beast. It's a whole, because again, for me, it was the bottom of the pit. I wasn't being poor, wasn't being broke, wasn't being shamed, don't care. Being separate from my mother. Like the spiritual gap between my mother that I created, and obviously that's mixed with guilt and shame.
Yeah.
That action is the most painful thing I've ever gone through. I've been shamed. I've slept on the street before, by the way. I was so broke at a stage, my friends wouldn't let me sleep at their house anymore. I was too much BS.
Yeah.
That compares nothing to the pain of being separate from my mother. And did you feel kind of, I guess, no, it's different because you've already said it isn't conscious.
Yeah.
For you didn't, I guess you weren't even thinking of, I don't feel good.
There's no single cause.
Wow.
It doesn't feel like I can look at something and be like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I really do think it is oh, you got that card.
Yeah.
Like this is what you deal with. And that may sound like I'm saying to anyone who's depressed is like, just like, accept it. I'm not. I'm just saying that it's difficult to truly explain in ways that really, really have like labeling it even depression, I think is a bit unfair. It needs to be something else. Like if you could, that's why we tried to solve that problem with things like SSRIs, and it works for a lot of people. But I think there are other ways that you can do it. Things like good sleep. Holy shit.
Yeah.
If you take sleep seriously, which is something I've only recently been doing.
And not just sleep for the sake of sleeping. Like for me, like watch how you sleep as well. You don't sleep more than 8 hours. In depression, you sleep
all the damn time,
hey,
or none at all.
Hey,
it's one of the two.
Yeah.
You're kidding, right? I can't believe you just brought that up.
But anyway, all praise to food, man. We here because of food.
Yeah, food is the fundamental, is the big, like it's that there's move big rocks.
Yeah.
If you're trying to make stuff happen, food is a big rock.
Energy,
you can be like, I was basically, like I was saying, is diabetes was guaranteed, I think, now.
Yeah.
And to be honest, now that I'm getting a bit older, I'm also like turning 35 this year.
Yeah, yeah.
If I eat too much sugar, I can feel that train starts coming back. Like, oh, that's familiar.
Yeah.
And I don't like that feeling because it's like eat something and everything just starts changing. Like, but it's physiological. It's not it doesn't change your perception.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It just, you're like, I can't do this. I can't concentrate.
Yeah.
I can't, energy levels are down. I should really go sleep, but like I literally just woke up. So there are problems that are like in the machinery is the problem. And for me, it was sugar. So no soft drinks.
Yeah.
Remove soft drinks from your diet. You're guaranteed going to lose weight so quickly you won't even, like your head will spin.
Yeah.
And the other one for me, which was pretty strange, was fruit. I don't eat much fruit.
Really?
Yeah. It's just not drawn to it. It's I don't know. how deep you want to go, but different metabolic pathway.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, straight to your liver, straight to fat. Basically, that's the signal that fruit does. And the reason that happens is because back in the day, if we found a apple tree somewhere, we would have been like, we're eating every single apple on this damn tree because we don't know when another one is coming along.
Yeah.
And we just like we used to gorge ourselves in fructose. So
Yeah.
it would have been at a period just before winter. So over a period of depending on what your belief structure is, obviously.
So the best way, vegetables.
I don't think there's a best way, man. I think it's
Just
about
balance.
paying attention.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
oh, this makes me feel bad. I'm not going to eat too much of that. This
Yeah.
makes me feel excellent.
Yeah.
I can eat more of that, but if I overdo it.
Yeah.
There's gonna
too
be a
much of
cost.
something. Yeah.
So the Mediterranean diets, I think, are where we should be paying attention to, because
Vegetarian.
I also gave up bread and I went full paleo. I was like, if you eat bread, you're dead to me.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean you put that poison inside your body?
That's me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most bread is like that, I think. But
Yeah.
like now I bake every week. In fact, I've bread sourdough like busy fermenting at home right now. And there's certain like you once you go through this like war zone that is trying to like reorganize your machinery. I like to describe it as like wheels, like wheels that carry inertia,
Yeah.
like big flywheels.
Yeah.
And you have a number of those like in your body. And if you imagine, like ideally you'd want them all to be kind of rotating at a similar kind of speed in harmony with one another. When you start eating a lot of sugar, one will start to spin quickly and it'll start to go and go and go and go and go and go until you want to change that. Damn, you got to wait for that flywheel to spin down. And how you do that, just stop. You have to stop eating. You have to stop pushing the throttle of turning that wheel. So you wait for it to spin down and then you start to normalize. And then if you aren't paying attention, you'll go, oh, I feel pretty good and I've lost like 5 kg, so I'm going to go hit another Cinnabon.
Yeah.
I'm going to down this entire Coke bottle because I love Coke so much.
Yeah.
And then that flywheel starts spinning back up, and because your body knows how to function because of homeostasis,
Yeah.
it knows, cool, I know this baseline, let's just maintain it. So,
You know, you spoke about sleep just now. And it's so interesting. We never think of the whole machine. And again, it comes back to, I often ask this, the societies we're building, again, the being alone thing. It's like, do you think the society, the way we're building society, I mean, I was just thinking again today, I'd moved into an apartment block 2 months ago. I've got no clue who my neighbor is.
yes.
No, like I have, I don't mean I once saw them. I have got no clue who my neighbor is.
You hear them, you smell their food.
And I normalize that, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. Right? That has to play into the exacerbated rate of depression. You know, you're in this room now, dude. We've been doing Zoom calls and whatever for like
a long time.
And I'm an individualist. Like, to be honest, I like to spend time on my own. But I have to be honest. The Zoom call thing, I didn't realize until I saw the first person, because I can see your eyebrows moving. That's affecting me.
100%. We need.
I can see when I'm saying something how it's affecting. I can see your pupils
And it's
dilating.
not like, oh, sorry. Oh, you go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there is a fourth wall that they,
100%.
you know, or whatever you want to call the laptop screen. And I'm aware that I can't smell you. Well, you know, I can smell both of you guys. That's changing because you are, and we know on a scientific level, it's not wooey. We're all emitting pheromones when we're angry, anxious, happy. That's constantly happening, by the way. That is a massive part of communication. We know that through gastrology. Like that, you know, the way we build apartment blocks. I can't see my neighbor. I can't hear.
Apartment blocks are not designed around human happiness.
It is not.
It's about, we have X amount of meters squared. How do we churn profit? So we could build a pretty dope, like 150 meters squared apartment, have a nice kitchen, good place to like, you know, good area. Could put like 2-3 bedrooms. Nah, dude, let's cut that up into 4 and drive that shit as high as we legally can go. And I speak this way about a lot, to be honest. Like it's a bit of like a cynic in my personality, I suppose. But a lot of the time it's true.
It is no. That's
I mean,
not a hot take.
You can frame it. I suppose you can frame it as well, people need homes, and
Yeah.
like it's more affordable to structure it like this. So people feel safer, it's more convenient because we can build like urban sprawl is not so much of an issue. But at the end of the day, I think I spoke earlier about like systemic stuff, and I think systematically our societies have been eroded. I mean, like what ceremony do we still have? And I'm not talking like religious ceremony. I'm talking like in the village, we brought home meat for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Let us get together and celebrate, and you know what I mean? Like none of that really happens anymore. Like this is a ceremony in a way. Like this is a conveyance of like I have these ideas and these philosophies, and you do, and cool, let's share and like create something for ultimately the sole purpose of just exchanging knowledge. But those sorts of we don't have fires that we go and chill out in the evening, and you're like, geez, dude, I cut down a lot of stuff today, and but we got like food for enough time. Oh well, I adventured over like a new mountain range, and there's fuck all there. But I'm tired now. There's none of that. We don't have anything like that anymore. I think work might replace a lot of that, which is why I think workalism.
Workalism. It is the other drug. Forbidden. Do you know what I'm saying though? Like, also, I live in a nice apartment block. Like, I don't live in a matchbox. But I've got, again, there's
no one.
Even if I'm being conscious about it, I do know there's a problem with that.
It doesn't feel right somehow. I mean, like where I live, so we have a house and a garden. That's where we grow our veggies and whatnot, and I've got a pool. I've got like literally everything material I could ever want ever. I don't want for anything, honestly, which is a privileged position. Sure, I've put in graft to get there. My wife and I work our asses off, really. But at the end of the day, I feel the same thing. Like, we've got a neighbor, and I'm like, I don't know you. You live next door to me, and I don't know you. And the other dudes who live next to us, like, see them occasionally when you're taking like my dogs for a walk, and I'm like, hey man, how's it going? Oh no, cool, dude. Oh,
that's the only time.
Oh, I wish lockdown would end soon. Me too, man. Oh, your dog's got quite a bit bigger. It's like real. It's conversation in that it's like kind of gossipy and like engaging with another person, but it's nothing like this. There's not like, hey, you should come over for dinner tonight.
Or, what's ridiculous is, as modern society, we think we're so civilized, right? This word civilized. And if anything, we're less civilized.
It's so simple.
Well, we're not
really
civilized.
We're not.
Because, and listen, again, take it as a spectrum. Just in this slither of civilization, right, is that the backbone of human survival was, okay, I'll tell you what, pal. Andrew, tonight, you building the fire and making sure that the fire keeps going. Forbidden, you're keeping watch. It's my turn to sleep. But you keeping watch means you're going to tell Andrew when the lions come, or the wolf, or whatever the scary saber-tooth is coming. Andrew's going to get the stick, put it fire, give you the fire stick.
So
you put the fire stick, saber-tooth goes away. It's the backbone of what community is.
Like meaning.
But, okay, the women, you know what you do back then? Look after them. They're going to go pick some berries. Hey, Forbidden, you're the strongest warrior. Please go and watch from the hilltop over them while they're picking berries. Right? Now, like you're saying, listen, my neighbor could be could have a cure for cancer.
Could be a serial killer.
Also, a good point.
Could be chopping up bodies in his garage every night.
Right next door.
But I mean, this is the reality of like how disconnected it has become.
That's my question. That for me is an exacerbant. Surely we know this wave. I mean, you spoke of depression just now. Surely that's going to exacerbate that, and we're not doing anything about it. Or am I wrong?
No, you're definitely not wrong.
You're not wrong. Yeah, carry on.
But I think big ships turn slow, and this ship is being built for a long time, and it's been fueled by many things. There's so many. I mean, like, how do you start, really? Have you traveled into Africa?
I have. So my mother worked across the continent for 30 years in some interesting parts of the war zones in particular. But I've done. My sister lives in the Ivory Coast. She studied there.
I don't know. Like I've been to Uganda. Really, like that was our. But
No,
you
yeah.
get the real.
I've been there.
You get a real different vibe as to what community is.
Yeah.
I mean, you're driving on the main road and there's like farms, like micro farms along the street. You know what I mean? And sure, like poverty may cause a lot bit and stuff, but there is definitely a different approach to the way, like you go corn. I got some pretty cool pumpkins. I'll give you like 3 pumpkins. You give me like 10 heads of corn, or ears of corn. You cool? Cool. Done. That's a transaction. But it's also like, that is such an honest trade. And like, who am I going to go and trade my excess potatoes with?
Here in this
right?
society.
Like for me, I don't know, maybe someone in my hood, but then how am I going to reach them? I'm going to put an ad out on Instagram. I'm going to go on the local WhatsApp. Hello, everyone, which actually does work, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it's like still, you know, like I think people would like to live closer to one another, but at the same time, probably not.
I also don't think so. I wonder if there's too many of us and we're scared. Because for me, it's like, so let me tell you, in my complex, I specifically searched out a complex. No kids allowed, no pets allowed. Now that's all about me, right? So I have a philosophy. My 30s, because I always say to people, my 20s I gave to everybody else. It was always about, what do you think about me? I made a vow to myself at 29 that my 30s will be just about me. Now, I didn't realize the road I was going down. Number one, it plays straight into my personality type, so I am flourishing in individualism and stay away from me, right? Like superficially, I am flourishing. Yeah. It is perfect for me. Yeah. Spiritually, you know, the fact that I chose a complex where I don't want to hear kids, I don't want to see kids, I don't want to see pets, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, that's a pretty like you've cut out like a pretty large chunk.
Yeah.
Of, I mean, like I have pets. I have 2 dogs, 2 cats, and that they like are the
best.
I get home and I'm like, I mean, like when I get home now,
I'm actively anxious just listening to you.
Yeah. Jesus, my dogs are going to be like, where have you been? Who have you seen? What have you eaten?
Yeah.
Also, thank God you're still alive. You're still with the pack. And like that's a simple human.
Yeah.
It's like a connection with like another sentient creature that I get to share. And that, I think like those sorts of experiences are the ones that
worthwhile.
You won't realize you're missing it until you won't realize you need it unless you've had it, in my opinion.
No, 100%. 100%. Like you said, hey, big ships turn slowly, and this ship is...
But, I mean, self-actualization...
And I don't feel bad about, by the way. I don't want anybody thinking I feel bad about this. I feel just fine about it.
Yeah. I mean, this is happiness.
I am so happy right now.
That's the most subjective thing, I think, really.
I am so happy right now. It's all about me. I'm the main star. But there is an underlying...
You're wondering, and the wondering becomes
my next door neighbor.
Frequent.
Like, I would actually like to just get to know them because
go and have
what if they were ill?
Yeah.
What if you were ill?
Yes.
It's actually not my first thought. My first thought is, what if you were ill? I should know I should know your next of kin details. Yeah. Because otherwise, why am I living next door to you?
Yeah.
This makes it makes sense in I can afford to live next to you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not Bill Gates.
Yeah.
But I work hard.
I mean, you could buy a piece of land out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
For like,
and literally have no neighbors.
Yeah, you could do that.
Mm.
I could. I guess I want my cake and to eat it. You know, so it's like I can still hear the guy on his phone.
Yeah.
You know, the ladies upstairs always fighting.
Yeah.
There's 2 ladies that live. You know.
Yeah, man. I used to live in a complex.
I know. Listen, the complex I live in, by the way, like 15 apartments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think at some point you just also have to look at yourself and be like, oh, this is cool. I'm down with this. This is fine.
No, listen, I love it. But I just, my point was, number one, I appreciate both of you for sharing that depression, because I think it's such an interesting way to have heard it. You know, every time I hear it now, I don't want to say attacked, but I do feel like people speak to me like, you'll never understand. I say, explain yourself better. And you guys have done that because you haven't belittled me with the sort of undertone of there's a certain way you talk to people of you'll never understand anyway, but I might as well.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's a tricky. It's a no. You don't understand.
Yeah.
It's not a very compassionate
Yeah.
way to speak to another human being. I mean, like, you get mad in traffic, and you're like, why the fuck are you mad, bro?
Yeah.
Look at all these people. You think
Yeah.
they want to be sitting in traffic? They're just like you.
I am just like that.
People are just
My
same.
sister, every time when she's with me, she's like, look at how this guy's driving. Tell this guy. I'm like,
that is a poison you feed yourself. Man.
I'm like, they just driving. Like, fine. I must just be careful.
Yeah, I don't want to crash into you.
Yeah,
dude,
I'm not gonna. But you do know other people are just driving.
yeah, and the weird thing is, on the same note, you're like, geez, I just want to get home.
Yeah.
Move your damn car.
You got to feed the right wolf there.
Yeah.
if I had like a bulldozer, I would just crush
Yeah,
you.
just
and you're
crush
like,
you.
that is an unrealistic thing. Can't
Yeah.
do that. You
Yeah.
probably,
Oh, bulldozers. I mean, where would you keep one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the maintenance? What's the
Stop
upkeep?
it. Stop it.
Murder's a bad
would it
thing.
do damage to the road?
Murder's a bad thing. What do you do with the
Yeah.
human body once you've rolled over them?
What are you gonna do?
The bulldozer's not worth it
Nothing.
in there. Just sit down, turn your podcast on, and put the aircon on.
Well,
That's
I
it.
mean, yeah, exactly. Or learn something.
Yeah.
Podcast, huh?
I went through a phase where I was listening to a lot of podcasts. And this actually kind of gets onto a point that I wanted to talk about too, which is
Yeah.
around depression and mental health, is pushing dopamine buttons.
Yeah.
Also fairly recent, like kind of really paid attention to it. But video games.
Huh. Yes.
Video games are like sanctioned gambling for children.
Really?
Dude, next time you play, and like not really sports games, I don't think, because sports are like inherently understood.
Yeah.
So you like can play like FIFA and like,
Yeah.
for example,
The
and like
racing
football, you're like
Yeah.
cool, or like racing, right? So
Yeah.
like that's like there's a defined beginning and end.
game. Yeah.
And sure, you can like queue up the next game and just send it. But if you play a game, I'm going to throw Overwatch in here, but if anyone's played Overwatch. And
Yeah.
Andrew, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So Overwatch is like a highly stylized team-based shooter. But it is a masterpiece of entertainment, in my opinion, because that game hooks you in and it just feeds you things that make you feel good. So you're like, oh, you mean I can choose from all these heroes that have different abilities,
Yeah.
some that suit me better. Like
Yeah.
I like healing or like supporting teams. I can
Yeah.
play that.
Yeah.
I like being a big fat like damage absorbing entity that I can just like push the front line forward.
Yeah.
Or I can like shoot dudes in heads. I got all of it.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with the game, like the actual mechanics of the game. I love the game, for example. StarCraft 2 is another one.
Yeah. StarCraft.
Excellent. Like as a game, like actually as playing as a thing to use my mind to try and like play with. A lot of these games though, they will reward you in ways that are very, very subtle, but start edging you towards a place that isn't, I don't think, is mentally good. And like you'll be playing in the first, you haven't played in a while. I was joking with a mate of mine because I still do play video games, but I control it a lot now because I just know it's a slippery slope for me.
Yeah.
But I was saying to him the other night, I was like, hey dude, why do you think we just had such a good game? And he was like, I don't know, like maybe we just got lucky. I was like, I don't buy luck with this. This was an algorithm
Yeah.
serving you up like to much like less capable players so that you were almost guaranteed to win, so that dopamine you hit is so big, because there's nothing bigger in the game
Yeah.
really than winning a game and winning a round.
Mm.
So you win the round, dopamine, and you're like, oh, that felt good, let's just queue up, let's do it again, let's queue up for the next game. Wait, then you get absolutely steamrolled. Like you just lose every single like fight that you have. The guys like on the other team, you can see they're good, and you're like, damn, like, geez, I really suck at this, but I won the last game.
Yeah.
Also, I got a medal this time,
Yeah.
and it's a gold medal.
Ah,
I did the most damage on my team.
Yeah.
yes.
And it goes swing,
Yes.
and it shines at
That
you. and-
sound.
exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds like casino money, you know,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So then you queue up, and you do that for hours. Time disappears. You really start enjoying yourself. You win like 50%.
Yeah.
You know, like just enough to keep you coming back. The house always wins, though,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you do that once like a week. So what? It's like gonna go hang out with your mates and you do something like that really makes you elated as opposed to happy. And then the problem comes in, you do that every second day.
Yeah.
And then you do that every day. And then you stop enjoying the game because you're like, no, I'm going to solve this thing.
Yeah.
This isn't fun anymore, but I'm going to solve it.
Yeah.
And so over time, I think what happens, because I'm not a doctor and I don't try to play one on the internet, to quote Tim Ferriss, I think what happens is you become like, just like your body loses the ability to cope with glycogen or external sources of glycogen or refined sugar, so basically sugar, you lose the ability in much of the way that you become insulin desensitized. So you stop reacting to sugar in an appropriate way. You stop reacting to like happy chemicals like dopamine and serotonin in a normal way. So you start looking for the game, which gives you such massive dopamine reward mechanism, feel good, happy triggers, and you stop enjoying this thing, and you're like, no, but this is fun. I should convince, like, I know this is fun.
Yeah.
Why am I not enjoying myself?
Yeah.
So you start doing more of it and more of it and more of it until eventually you become so desensitized to dopamine because your body's like, dude, you can't keep pushing this. You can't feel elated all the time. There's a tax
Sure.
to everything.
Absolutely.
So you,
especially that much dopamine neurologically.
100%. So you then over time will stop enjoying everything because you're like, yeah, I mean, I could cook, but it's not video games. I could watch series, but that TV, an episode compared to like 3 rounds of video game. I mean, what is this? This is cheap entertainment. So then you fall in that hole. And the reason that I feel like I can speak confidently on this is because this is literally, I think, what happened to me. And so what did I do? I was like, well, let me try to just give this up completely. So I just pulled the cord. I was like, no video game stimulation whatsoever. And I think I got into like 3 months worth of time. And at the 3 months, well, actually earlier on than that, I would say, 4 weeks, I think, because I did research on this afterwards. There's actually a guy who has an entire program dealing with this issue exactly. I think it was about 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. I started finding enjoyment in like tiny things. Like my dog would come and sit next to me and I'd be like, huh, man, you're a funny dog, and the joy, you're like, whoa, that's joy. Oh, okay. Then I start cooking again, like with more attention, and you start making cool things, or you start enjoying music more, or you start having conversations that you find fulfillment in, or you put more effort into work and you feel better. And so I think that is a new thing that is going to become more and more prevalent, is these dopamine, serotonin, all of the neurochemicals that are responsible for like feeling good or like interpreting the world as like with a sense of joy. Those things are really going to start, or an attention to that kind of illness is going to become more and more prevalent and go like aggressively trying to regulate. Because if you were to go to a casino, like you go to Monte Casino, any casino, and you're like, I'm just going to go and play some wheels, man. And you're like, you get in there, maybe you pay like one, you win like a couple of bucks, and you just keep pulling that lever. You'll see those people there now. You see like these people that aren't even aware of the fact that they're just so hopelessly addicted to this thing, and like unconsciously addicted. And that
every day, or
100%. And that's the problem with video games in particular. And like, I'm not shitting on video games because I love them. They're like I think there's so much joy to be had in the concept of a video game. But they need to be treated just like anything that has that much power. It's like smoke a joint, play a video game. Do some, you know what I mean? Like, go sprinting. If you like, for example, you get addicted to sprinting every day. It's a similar kind of thing.
Sure.
You're pushing a button because you're like, this makes me feel excellent. And I think like as long as you can be aware of those things that make you feel elated, and elated, not happy, elated, are the same things that would make you feel terribly sad. You could I think you could get addicted to the same thing, like watching videos of beheadings, for like an extreme example. You watch one, you're like, Jesus. You watch another one, you're like, oh, that wasn't too. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. What it really speaks to is the rise of things like, and what you're saying is incredibly true. You look at pornography, drugs, is I'd like to skip the process. I'd like to drive to the primal, and that we know that's not healthy, right? Because here's what it does: is actually for all those that have had sex in the world. I'm just going to use that realm of pornography. Skips the human part. Because what you're leaving out is I'm looking in someone's eyes. It can be sensual. It can be animalistic, whatever's happening in the process. But that's human. There's contact. There's pheromones. There's a whole thing. But then you actually have to do stuff. Because again, it comes to that toil. The food, if the food's just on the shelf, of course I'm not going to, I don't really enjoy it, but let me get it. But there is this deep loneliness to what you're saying, is let me drive straight. I need the best shot of it, but I want to drive straight to the primal center of it. And I can see what you're saying, because when you have everything comes at a cost. And when you have the purest form of simulated joy. But by the way, the brain is a great machine, but it doesn't actually know the difference. It doesn't know that this is not actually you hugging your mom. This is you playing a video game. The neurological pathways are the same.
Your heart rate goes up and you're not doing anything physical.
And so I absolutely...
I mean, you do, fair enough. You are doing something.
But I see what you're...
But like you just...
Yeah, I'm not like... I mean, like you playing a competitive video game, and sure, it matters, which is why like you focus, you know? So your body's like up-regulating things because it's like, whoa, we're expending energy. But it's not like...
You're not looking in your wife's eyes. But your brain doesn't know the difference. They look in your wife's eyes some days, you go, bloody hell, what is this awesome human doing with me?
How did I get so lucky?
That level of awesome. But there's a whole thing there, right? You look at her. Oh my God, the stuff she does for me. Oh, she always picks up my shoes. You know.
She shits on me for that, actually.
Did you leave your shoes over?
Yeah, I have a bad habit of leaving slippers all over the house.
Andrew.
Sometimes they line up next to each other, but they're nowhere near where they should be. But
you're a monster.
It's my cave too, in a way.
You are a monster.
I'm kidding.
Dude, we were going to get into food and some other stuff. And it went, I mean, this isn't the last time we're going to have you. And I want to, I can't believe how both of you guys.
Man.
Were so honest. Hey, that went somewhere else, huh?
Look like...
Hey, we had plans.
Hey, man, I mean...
We spoke about all of this and that.
What's the weird thing about this?
Is everything.
About this podcast? Everybody who sits with us, we just have something in common all the time. It's just weird.
Humans are way more similar to each other than they would care to like. But that, like that's the individualism, solve. How do you say? Like individualism is very important because you need to see like, oh, this is me. This is like my self. In a physical sense, but also like in the influence is important too. But I think like the like idea that no, I'm separate. Yo, dude, zombie came in here. I'm fucking throwing you in. You know what I mean? Like that kind of feeling is like not really. Like really, like that wouldn't happen. I tell you what, a zombie knocked at that door, all three of us would be like, how do we what are we doing? We wouldn't just turn on each other. That's not, and that's like media will tell you different though. They'll be like, no, dude, you fucking stab your mate in the head and throw his body. Anything to get ahead. No, I don't think humans are actually really like that.
You know what I just thought about? Me going to the Bryanston organic market might be my video games. Because people are so nice there. Like they so, and like there's nice at the shopping mall. Because you're here to buy a football shirt that you can't afford. And then like I was there for 2 hours just chatting to some lady.
Artisans.
No. She was talking about crazy stuff.
Real talk, Andrew.
She gives a shit about what she's talking about.
It was the Illuminati and this. No, full on.
It's one of those.
No, but we're into it now. but she's looking at me in the eyes. I didn't buy a single thing from her. By the way, there's customers walking by, but we got a great convo now. She raises her own kids on the farm. They don't go to school. A whole vibe. But I'm into it, dude. She's treating me like a human being. Like, oh, this person doesn't want anything from me.
I think that's like it's like the middle of the village in a way. Those sorts of places. You're going like, oh, let's just go see what's up in the village. Oh, check this guy like sells. Do you see the hand oil salesman guy?
Yeah,
that guy can sell Don't give him your hand. You'll end up buying stuff.
I bought stuff from the German lady. I bought cream
Yeah, you see.
and
They're good.
relax drops for the bath. They work.
Yeah.
But I think that is my video games, dude. Like I went there and I'm probably gonna tomorrow morning wake up, go for a run,
Yeah.
Head over to the market.
go
man.
to the market for breakfast.
Yeah, you know what? Like these vices.
I'm gonna join you very soon, man.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I'm gonna join you guys.
It's a good place.
It's a new world.
It's a new world, eh?
You should check
forbidden.
out.
Yeah.
Different world.
There's a
Really?
market in Irene. I don't know if they do it anymore, but you should check that one out.
Yeah.
Dairy. It's like damn, they cream.
Crazy.
But the thing about markets is once they're good, they turn douchey,
Mm.
and then every
Like the
prick with a man bun's there.
But then people want profit, dude.
Yeah.
And the second that I mean, a lot of like artisanal stuff I think is like not for profit often. Or like that's the idea, right?
Mhm.
Like I wanna bake sourdough and like just give me like for like $30 a loaf.
Yeah.
If we can cover the resources, I just love doing this.
Do you
That's
sell
nice.
your stuff?
No. I don't really want to involve
Yeah.
commercial
Yeah.
enterprise.
You think that
with
sullies
our-
it?
Yeah.
No, I don't know, maybe, yeah. It kind of like just makes it less about just doing it.
Yeah.
Dude, I have running that does that for me. Like I just do it because I love it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love how it makes me feel. I love the art of it. It's artisanal for
Love
me.
it too.
I love the craft of waking up, better technique.
Oh.
How does it make me feel? It puts me in touch. I'm alone. I'm capable. Nobody's paying me for this. There is no other
It's for
reward
You don't need
than
anything.
other than the process. And
Uh-huh.
it's awesome that you're there with the artisanal stuff that you kind of got going. And for you, as you say, this big ships take a long time to turn. Give us some hope and signs that you're seeing in and around you. Because by the way, we'll have multiple episodes with Andrew.
Sweet.
Where do I look for hope? Because I know it's a great friend of mine, Vanessa Vadim, said hope is not a plan. But where do I look for those drops? Because I believe in hope. Vanessa not so much, and she's a serious citizen and a tremendous human being. But for you, where do you see the droplets of hope? Are we getting better at community? Am I being cynical because I live in a city and I'm feeling disconnected? Are we eating better? Is the artisanal life, is it just for douchebags like me in the city? Or is it something that, is it actually us yearning to eat well again, communicate? And when it's artisanal, you actually need an expert more often than not. Hey, come join me. Hey, Rich, bring your expert. Whoa, peppers. Bring your peppers. Bring those around. I just made new bread.
Yeah.
We're going back again, that community. Oh, my child's sick. Oh, have you heard of this? I've got some oil that I make at home. Oh, what's that? Oh, what's in it? You know, community.
Yeah,
or not. Am I being...
No, I mean, I'd like hope is an interesting one. Because I think hope at its absolute kind of, like the furthest, I don't know, apogee comes to mind as a thing. Like you've starshot for is like synonymous with lying to me. And that's like, I'm cynical, like not negative all the time, but cynical in that, like, you're kind of right. Because if you're like, damn, I got money problems, I wish I just won the lottery.
Yeah.
Or, geez, I'm really overweight, I wish I could just take a pill. Or anything like that, literally anything. You're not, I think you're missing the part where it's like, you can do all these things, but effort, energy follows focus.
Yeah.
That kind of, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So just, and you must, that's where the hope should be. Is I want to change something. What is the smallest, tiniest thing that I can do to move myself in that direction?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to write a book. Start writing. Write garbage.
Yeah.
Write to yourself. Or I really want to start to cook. Learn how to make scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Or like
Start some way.
I really want to grow
Yeah.
some food. Just plant a seed.
Yeah.
It's like, I think like that's where hope should live. I
Yeah.
don't think like process is where you should focus.
Yeah.
Like pay attention to like putting in the effort, and the reward will come. Like have hope or faith
In
rather.
what you do.
Have faith that if I do this, like
I hope for it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hope for the best,
I got you.
but you have faith that I'll learn something and I'll get some reward from this. But to answer your question, and like, do I think we're, I don't know, getting happier and healthier and stuff like that? I do kind of think like we're moving in that direction. And interestingly enough, I think evidence of that comes in our like tolerance of substances, which have previously been like really, like, I think put in lights that are not accurate to their benefit. Like psychedelics is a big one. I think there's so much therapeutic benefit for people who have depression in psychedelics.
Sure.
Much in the way that like sobriety also has a similar impact. You know, it's the same kind of thing. Like you realize like, whoa, I got this problem, and if I do this thing, it gets me closer to a better place. I trust the process of doing the thing, and I have faith that it will get me to the place. So I don't think focusing on like the eventual outcome, like the I want to become Instagram famous. I just bought an account that has 1 million followers. Nah, dude, that's not how it works.
That ain't it.
Like if that was how it worked, everyone would do that.
Yeah.
And that kind of like getting away from that thinking, getting away from like, you know why an artisan, like a knife maker, like can make the world explodes.
Yeah.
How long will it take for us to make a pencil?
Forever.
Fucking, I don't know how to make a pencil.
I got no clue.
Yeah.
Or like shoes or like a shirt. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, but
Or a proper candle. Like a real thing. No, I got introduced by a friend who's the biggest hippie in the world, and she will watch this show, and we will have words at some stage through the next 24 hours. Because she makes candles, and I make fun of her chakra ways all the time.
Yeah.
But she makes proper candles.
kick-ass candles.
I've had one candle for 18 months now. I'm still burning the same candle.
Yeah. You see, good shit. Like I watched a documentary the other day that based on the way that we understand how to make light bulbs, we should be able to make light bulbs that never die.
Yeah.
And they built these things, and then there was no money in it, so the whole actual light bulb industry self-regulated to say that no, we build in obsolescence into the light bulbs so that we can all make money. That's a problem, but one that I don't think I'll be solving. But the but I think like a good example of like changes in behavior that I've noticed, particularly with lockdown, was pre-lockdown. My wife and I would take our dogs for a walk on the spread.
Yeah.
Like no one. It was just like us and a couple of other peeps walking their dogs, and like some homeless peeps, and like you just it's like you're kind of like an outlier. Lockdown came, damn, that place was full. There were people riding bikes. There were all families. It was like in between those curfewed hours.
Yeah.
And after that, those curfews have kind of that they've been loosened up. I mean, because I don't think many people are going to walk their dog at like 1 a.m.
No.
Although in my neighborhood probably. But there are more people out and about, like doing stuff. So there's been a change in the way that I think people realize that they live in places that they can actually like occupy.
Yeah.
And like actually go and talk to other people that they know, not, you know what I mean? So I think we're a bit more open to being like, yo, like, how you doing? Have you made it through? Have you lost anyone?
Yeah.
Because it's close.
2020 was just.
You can.
Yeah, it was just a.
Yeah, we didn't realize how close like the impact or something like COVID-19 was until it happened, and I guess I have hope that it will change.
Yeah.
The way that we frame, like, health, maybe responsibility, being compassionate to one another, and have faith.
Yeah.
That we will actually follow that path. But that's the thing about hope and faith is. You've got hope and faith on one side, and then you've got like obvious fact, which is more often than not undeniable, that you can obsess over and go the other way and just, I don't know. I mean, like, what do you do? Like, you tell me. Put our head in the sand to certain things, or do you try and make a difference? Like, really put your shoulder against the rock and try and give it a good push? I don't know, but I do know that you can grow food in your backyard.
Yes, what's up?
Yeah. Hey, before we go, you were talking about books there, and I can't let you go on this time, and you'll be back. Can we still buy your book? Because you did write a book. You were just telling me about it before this.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you can.
Can I still buy it? You'll send me a link, and I'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
Tell me what it is. What's it about?
Well, basically,
and how do I buy it?
At the end of that journey, of like getting to a point where I was like, okay, I think I got a pretty good idea of how to feed a human. I put it into like a pretty short PDF. It's basically like an ebook that you can buy, and in there is effectively like some science, some like more hardcore sciencey stuff, so you can understand things like cholesterol and that whole shenanigan, and gluconeogenesis, which is basically your body's just production of sugar from fat, or rather glucose from fat. And those sorts of things, like some base science that I think if you can hold in your mind will guide your decisions better, to like how to actually apply it in a reasonable way that actually makes sense for most people. That's really like the book. But there's like you can get a meal plan on there and a cookbook too. So it's like a pretty easy to apply, low resistance methodology of trying to, like, with first and foremost as a priority of making or focusing on how your body deals with sugar. Which is like most people, if you can solve for sugar and like bad fats like trans fats and omega, all the bad omegas like 6s and 9s, you'll be good. It guides you on that path.
What's it called? Where do I get it?
You can get it at the paleodiet.co.za. The book's called How to Paleo. The one with the meal plan and the recipe book is called The Paleo Pack.
Okay.
It's pretty cheap.
We
I think
need
it's
to
like
get on this.
$100.
We need to get on this very soon.
You're on it, forbidden.
I'm on it.
Yeah, it's simple.
Like for me, I just started this journey of watching what I'm eating. I'm still an infant in this.
Why did you do that?
It's health reasons as well. Because like I was saying, remember I told you I was once big and I wasn't healthy. I thought I was healthy up until depression hit, and all that weight, all that was just on top of me every day. And at some point I was like, you know what? Yeah. Stop this thing, man.
Would you say being like overweight at that stage, did it make you feel sort of you were in a spiral? And again, we've discussed that it's not a choice.
Yeah.
But having that extraness and having that, would you say that made it worse, or it would have been as bad anyway?
I don't know. I wasn't conscious of it, but up until I got into depression, I wasn't conscious of it. Like, when I got into depression, I saw that, my man, you were not living a good life, because I was just eating anything and everything.
Like a dump truck, eh?
Yeah, man. You know, meat today, burgers tomorrow, meat again today. You know, like it was just bad. It was just bad. So now I think 2020 was a wake-up call. 2020 was like, nah, you can do better. You can do better.
The wake-up call, yeah.
Yeah, 2020 was a wake-up call for a lot of us. A lot of us. So for some, it was I don't know what it was. But for most of us, it was like, hey, man, as much as you are living, but you got to change the way you live.
And you can.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
You can. I never thought I'd be running. I never thought of that. Look at me now. I'm running every day.
Yeah, I do yoga now.
You
That's
see
sick.
that?
You want to address your brain.
Yeah.
Your yoga, man. That is
and changing this thing, this weapon. It's a tough thing, but once you do it, you move worlds. You move worlds, my man.
Guys, I can't do any better than that. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been dope, man.
Oh, man. We should do
cool.
this most of the time, all the time.
I think these long form conversations are important.
Next time when we call him, he should come prepare something for us, man. You know, something to eat.
How about that, Andrew, huh?
Okay.
You're talking, you're selling a book.
Yeah.
Maybe bring us some of this good stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to feel good with homemade mayonnaise.
Exactly,
Yeah,
me
put
too,
a
man.
request in if you want.
Yeah.
Or I can just wrangle something up.
Guys, you're awesome.
I do cook full fat though, I just have to warn you.
Yeah.
Like I don't make, if you only eat chocolate cake, you eat that chocolate cake.
That chocolate
Just don't eat it every day is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I don't believe in diets.
No. me either.
Yeah.
What I do is I thrash it out there, Andrew. I'm 8% body fat right now.
Yeah.
Everybody who's been around me for the last 6 months has been hearing
like a
that. They are
fusion
sick of
reactor.
hearing that.
Yeah.
But I am, are you kidding me?
How fast do you run a 5K?
Well,
This guy.
It depends how fast you want me to. So, because I train for 100 miles,
Okay.
so I'm actually not in the business. I mean, I'm a 30-minute 10K runner, no big deal.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
30 minutes.
No, but that
10K.
was, listen, let's also be honest, that was 2015 when I was a different beast. I ran.
What?
Jeez,
was
100 miles.
I was-
Levels.
I was
Dude,
a different beast in 2015, 2016. I ran 30-minute 10Ks twice. But now I'm in the business of, I train somewhere between 5:50 and 7 minutes a K. I'll run a half marathon tomorrow. And listen, when I was playing football, I was pretty fit, but I'm a different beast right now.
You should have my friend Kyle on. He runs like you.
Yeah.
You guys could.
What's Carl's surname?
Skuman.
No, I haven't seen him on the scene. But so I eat anything. My point is, I do love food. And listen, I also
Coffee.
Oh yeah, I only drink artisanal single origin coffee. But just before we finish off, food is such an important thing to me.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Forbidden earlier, my own philosophy. There's been no doctor who's told me this. But the reason I really started to take food seriously, because I used to binge and drink and all of that, even when I was I was fit. I've always been relatively fit. 2015 to 18, I was a different beast, hurt my knee. 19, not so great. But I'm starting to get near 15, 16 levels now. But one of the things, the food thing, is I've said to myself, if I put it in my mouth, this is how I look at it. I'm not saying it's true. But if I put it in my mouth, I'm telling myself what I think about myself.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the one thing I can truly control. Now, we can obviously go to if I'm depressed and there's, but I'm talking about myself in the state that I'm in.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm overly cautious about. People call me a yuppie, and you know how I am with my coffee.
Yeah.
I will not drink rubbish coffee. Not because I want to be a yuppie. Yes, a little bit I'm a pretentious northern suburbs guy. But I know the functional side of it. A great cup of coffee makes me feel good. And on a scientific level, it is good for me.
Yeah.
So, again, if it touches these lips and it's going to pass my tongue, it's got to be the finest I can afford.
Absolutely.
And I'm getting more conscious. So I speak to people like you. Even if I don't understand it, sometimes I'm like, okay, cool. I want to look into that. If you told me, okay, there's a berry you've discovered that's good for your kidneys, I will look into it. Like I used to just be, whatever, man. I'm just gonna go. I'll just put it in my mouth. But now, what you put in your mouth for me tells me what I think about myself, and that's where I am in my journey. So I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I just think food is, again, the gap between life and death, and it's a good start to the quality of life you'll have in this third dimension, I think, and start there for me. And I hope that's the hope that people like you are bringing, is there is another choice.
I think so. I mean, as long as, I guess all that I'd like to propose is that people interrogate themselves.
Yeah.
Like just like read a label.
Yeah.
Go to the shop, read a label and be like, I mean, there's an E number there and I don't even know what that is. And be like, do you really want to eat that when the healthy equivalent, and healthy and enjoyable, more enjoyable equivalent, is like effort away. It's effort away.
Listen, on that note, the great Socrates said, the unobserved life is not worth living.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been awesome.
Salute.
You're awesome.
This was great. Thanks very much.
Mr. Andrew Charles.
Can't wait to see you again. Guys,
I'm looking forward to it.
You're awesome. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys.
We're out.
Wow. What a good one.
That was fun, man.
No, please. We gotta do this again.
Sure.
This one, different people are gonna be like, what? They even eating in studio.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we should do it. We can